FYF Sports, man. It's Lamont. Back, man. Back with another episode. Today, we got some stuff to talk about. We got to chop it up on some stuff. I've been thinking, man. I've been really thinking hard on what's the greatest era of basketball. And I think I know what the greatest era of basketball is. No nostalgia. I know why it's so hated. No games, no gimmicks. But I'm going to just get right to it. The greatest era of basketball is the 2000s, hands down, by far. The most superstars, the most competitive basketball, the greatest teams, the greatest moments, the greatest rivalries, all in the 2000s. And it wasn't the top guys that made it the greatest era. No, Octavius made is no, it's not. It's not from 2000 to 2010. It's from 2000 and still running. It's still running because the greatest thing about the 2000s is that a lot of these stars in the 2000s are playing. They're playing longer. Their primes is still there. So let's not I say it's still going. Now, I think the game kind of shifted around 2015. When the Golden State era kicked in, but that was just another dynasty that kicked in. But for the most part, the 2000s and on up has been the greatest era of basketball. We've never seen more stars. We've never seen more stars. We've never seen more superstars. I mean, I could run down the list, and I'm going to bring you guys in. But I could run down the list of just superstars in the 90s. Superstars in the 90s. At one point in time, we could say these guys were one of the toughest in the game. Let me pull this up right here. I'm about to drop this link for you guys. I'm about to get all of y'all in here. We're gonna chop it up on this. We gotta really touch on it, talk about it. Hold on, you disagree. Mingo Jester, you disagree a lot, but you ain't came in the chat to disagree with us. You think the 90s is the best era. You really need to come in here and defend that because I don't think the 90s had as many superstars as the 2000s did. It's not close. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. On top of the fact that my main point in this is that, see, the without Jordan, if you take Jordan out of the 90s is horrible. The 90s is garbage. See, but I can go to the 2000s. If I pluck Kobe from the 2000s, it's still loaded with superstars because you still got Shaq, you still got LeBron, you still got Nash, you still got D Wade, you still got all of these, you still got Dirk. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is plug Jordan from the 90s, and then you come back and tell me if the 90s is still great. See, I can plug Kobe from the 2000s, and the 2000s is still great. This is one of the reasons why. Like, you can't allow one person to make your era. Don't bring me an era where one person made the era. When I look at the 80s, you're talking about Bird and Magic saved the 80s. When you're talking about two players that completely saved an era, then that can't be the greatest era of basketball. It just can't be. The 90s, you're right. They would be fine. It's not going to be looked upon as it is now. The main reason why the 90s is looked at the way it is now is because of Jordan. This is why we had to bail out excuses. How many times we talk about players from the 90s and we say, well, how come this player wasn't successful in the 90s? How come they didn't get any chips? Oh, because of Jordan. Well, how come Barkley didn't get a ring if he won the MVP? Because of Jordan. Well, how come Malone was one of the greatest power forwards of all time with John Stockton on his team? How come he didn't? Because of Jordan. Well, Patrick Ewing was one of the greatest centers of all time. How come he didn't get? Because of Jordan. That's why. That's why the 90s can't be the greatest era of all time. That's why. Because everything is because of Jordan. See, you can't do that with the 2000s. Everything in the 2000s wasn't because of Kobe. It was so many other players that made up the 2000s that were all considered superstars in their own right. That's what made the 2000s the greatest era of basketball of all time. And I just want y'all to come debunk that. All right. I mean, y'all can come with your stats. You can come with, this, but at the end of the day, your sentences, if you're talking about the 90s, please don't come with the 90s. Because if you're talking about the 90s, what's going to happen is you're going to end your sentence with because of Jordan somewhere down the line. Because I'm going to lead you down a web that you don't want to go down. And then you're going to be ending with because of Jordan. So this is why the 90s can't be the greatest era of all time. Because if you pluck one man away, it's trash. Let's go ahead and drop the link. There's a couple people that disagree, Christian Butler. There's a couple people that disagree. See, and then my whole point is this, and I think that the players surrounding Kobe is what helped elevate him, because Kobe had to overcome a lot more. He had to overcome superstar after superstar. All right, he was in premier battles with Tim Duncan. You know, he had to see the big three, Kevin Garnett and the Celtics. You know, he had to see them Detroit Pistons with Chauncey Billups. Let's drop this link, man. Because, again, I think the 90s is so glued on Jordan trying to boost him up that they forget to mention that the 2000s was loaded with Hall of Famers. And not just Hall of Famers. You're talking about superstars. Let's get this link in here. And that's no disrespect to the 90s. That's not their fault. Hold on. What's the soft error, Laban Good? I don't even know how to say your name because you haven't came in the chat yet. You gotta, bring 2 Raw with you because I can ether 2 Raw for the second time if you bring them with you. Make sure you come back with 2 Raw. All right. I already debunked them and ethered them on Draymond Green. That was light work. Oh, yeah, my bad. I got the rambling and raving. We 6 minutes in. I haven't dropped the link. We already got over 1,000 people in here. See, I'm playing around. Hold on. Drop the link right there, man. I really need somebody to explain this to me. I want somebody to tell me why. Why do people keep running around talking about the 90s is the greatest era of basketball? But every sentence they say is because of Jordan. That's it. Oh yeah, the link is in there, y'all. We need somebody, Lou. Make sure you come back with 2 Raw. Hit that link. Renegade, man, you haven't been in a while. You need to come on in. I know you like talking on stuff like this. Yeah, the 2000s was a defensive era. Yes, it was. I believe that. Hold on. The NBA is still defensive. See, there's a lot of people like to run around. Oh, we got antisocial first. And hold on. Before we bring antisocial in, man, I'm going to give him a round of applause, man. Because I'm talking about the man went into the jungle. The man went on the road. And yesterday, I'm talking about antisocial went in and just straight ether. Got caught a whole bunch of bodies over there. People didn't know they basketball facts. Man, him talk about, he just was throwing knockout blows everywhere, man. I was listening in. You know, I'm blocked and banned over there, so all I can do is listen in, so I can't really chime in the way I want to. But I definitely appreciate how antisocial stepped to the plate over there, was just catching bodies yesterday. That was crazy. Antisocial was good. Renegade was good.
Wow, what's him? Salute to the chat panel. Salute to you, Lamont.
What's good, man? How you been?
Man, what's been up, dog?
Man, you know, nothing much over here. Just putting in work on the channel. We got a couple people.
Let's get the chopping this shit, bro.
We got to.
I always feel like this, dog, and it to me, bro. I don't disrespect none of the dudes, dog. Jordan was a GOAT. Jordan a great whatever. Okay, cool. All I gotta ask y'all, bro, was his greatness that good to the point, dog? Y'all let one man dominate y'all whole era. One man
taking everything.
You heard me? Was he just that great or y'all competition just won it up the part with him, dog? Like, I really want to know, was he just that great that you mean to tell me this man sat out 2 years and came back and y'all still let that nigga get another 3-peat? I don't see how nobody in this era, dog, like, you could sit out 2 years and come back and win a championship, bro. In this era, bro, fuck no. It can't happen. It's not happening, dog.
CJ was good.
What's happening, nigga?
And like I said, I ain't trying to take nothing away from the man or nothing, dog. But do you mean to tell me like Charles Barkley, y'all couldn't even push this nigga to 7 games, bro?
Charles Barkley, swear to God, he the shit because he got one game against MJ.
Yeah, but y'all couldn't push this nigga to 7 in the finals.
Hold on, I don't even want to waste time talking about the '90s because we got to talk about the greatness. See, the thing is, we don't have to try to make the argument for the '90s not being great. That argument's already there. We don't really. There's not much you need to do. The 2000s, Kobe. Like I said, if you take Kobe away from the 2000s, you still got a boatload of superstars. It's still gonna be great. You had Webber and the Sacramento Kings. You had Shaq. You still had. I mean, you got D Wade. You got Dirk. You got the big three in the Celtics. You got so many great teams. You still got Ray Allen, who was a superstar at one point in time. I mean, it's still star-studded. The 90s is not star-studded without Jordan.
Stop the mic.
So that's all we got. Hold on, we gonna
defense.
Go ahead, Renegade. What do you got on this?
Got big old defense ever since 2002 came. And
somebody got some background though.
Portion that's the league out of the league. Somebody background shit.
I got it. It was CBB. That's all right. Well, hold on. Go ahead, Renegade. My bad.
Yeah, man. He got the 2000, the best defensive ever. You know what I'm saying? It took the league about 6-7 years to get acclimated to the zone defense before, you know what I'm saying? You got
I feel you on that.
You got the Pistons coming in that thing. You know what I'm saying? With four people that should be Hall of Famers, but you know, all of the hating or whatever, them boys, it probably take them boys about 10 more years to get in that thing. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Hey, Jeremy, what you got on this? Got Jeremy. Hold on. Let me go ahead and go to Mike Butter then. Mike Butter, what you got on this?
What's good, everybody?
Good.
I feel like, because I'm only 20, so like, you know, my basketball is really just from the 2000s. And from like what you're saying, there's like a multitude of stars. Like you look left or right, superstars here and there. And like you said, you take Kobe out the 2000s,
still great.
Like still a whole bucket of talent to choose from. And it was like competition level was so good.
You know the talent is justified because some of these guys got rings. When you look at Shaq, he got rings. When you look at Tim Duncan, he got rings. When you look at KG, he got a ring. Like when we go down the list, even when we go to guys like Iverson was nice in his own right. He don't got no rings. He was still a superstar. You still got LeBron. We know what LeBron did.
Still had Jason Kidd.
D Wade got a ring. I mean, these guys, it's justified because these guys got the hardware to back it up. They took their team all the way there. Even Dirk did it. Even Dirk did it. That's what superstars do. When superstars get put in front of a super team, a superstar is going to figure out how to get it done. Eventually, Dirk lost the first time. What did he do? He came back and got it right the second time.
Should have won that time, though, really.
Yeah, I
always should have 2 rings. Real talk.
Hold on, we got True the King and Social. He got bumped out. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is the 2000s is great because of the depth of the amount of superstars that we had. We forget them. You know, I heard somebody saying that Steve Nash, I think it was Eldon, said Steve Nash is the worst MVP of all time. That's a lie. That's not true. Because at the end of the day, who ranks MVPs? MVP is MVP.
That's only if you're going
valuable player.
Stats, though, really.
No. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
off a point stats,
at the end of the day, you're still making up a new stat just to say somebody wasn't as good. Is MVP is an MVP.
I mean, if he doesn't run into the Spurs, you gotta think he's gonna have a ring or so. If Steve Nash doesn't run to the Spurs, you gotta think he's gonna have a ring or 2.
But even without the ring, the man still has two MVPs. He still led a great team with Phoenix, changed the style of play. I mean, he brought flair and fun into basketball. He was a superstar in his own right. Steve Nash is always going to be remembered in NBA history for his style of play and what he did for the game, reinventing the pick and roll. All right.
Yeah, then there's the Pistons and the Nets.
Hold on. Elder says, name another MVP that you wouldn't take over that. It's not about. I don't take MVPs over other MVPs because it's per year on a per year basis. That year, I saw when Steve Nash got hurt when he was on the Phoenix Suns, they lost all of those games when he got hurt. He was the most valuable player for his team that year because when you took him away, they couldn't win a game. When you brought him back, so again. That's what makes you the most valuable player. It doesn't always go to the best player because if that's the case, Jordan would have won the MVP every single year in the 90s because he was always the best player in the 90s. So it's not about who the best player is. It's about who is the most valuable player for their team that season. When Barkley won it, he deserved it. When Carmelo won it, he deserved it.
Nash
Go ahead,
had the
Renegade.
most dominant. Yeah, the most dominant MVP years with the lowest points. How about that? Without dominated the points. How you like that?
But he was
But that
like,
don't
what,
mean nothing.
18
That don't mean
and
nothing.
12 or some shit like that?
Come on, man.
18 and 13. Man, I said that dude was a killer, though, dog.
All
What
right.
if it-
Hold on. Let me go down the list. Let me get everybody in here. CA3 Sports Talk. What you got on this?
I mean, I kind of agree with you, man. Like when you look at the '90s, you don't really see many superstars that could really compete with Jordan. You know, these are supposed to be the best. These are supposed to be the best players in the world. They're supposed to compete with the best guy out there.
None of them niggas could compete with him. If it looked like it, we talking about.
Let him cook.
I don't think it's and you know you can say Jordan was so great. You know, nobody can compete with him. But I mean, I think that's BS because you know if you're the best player, if you're part of the best player in the world, you're supposed to compete with any guy up there in your category. Like as I mean, you know, you look at this era in the 2000s. You know. The best superstars they compete with the best superstars. So if you're considered a superstar, in my opinion, you should be able to compete with anybody that's considered a superstar. That's how I feel about it.
That's facts. Hold on, we got CB8. CB8, what you got on this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, what's up, panel? What's up?
What's good, man? How you been?
I'm good. I've been listening to you for a little while, and I agree. I agree with the MJ point because without MJ, it's really nothing. Because if you want to talk about the talent from the 2000s, for every player that's a superstar in the 90s, you probably got about 2 to 3 players at that position in the 2000s who could actually compete with them. Like if you want to talk about a Malone from the 90s, we could go with a Duncan or KG. You know what I'm saying? The only super player was Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And we talking about small forwards. If you want to talk about what Scottie Pippen, Grant Hill, you could still go with a LeBron, a T-Mac. You got a multitude of players that you could throw out, and then they got the stats to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the championships was spread. So it's like, you know, Duncan never won back-to-back. He won, you know, sporadically. The only person only team that really like dominated on that 3-year stretch was the Lakers. But other than that, you know, it's just MJ. If there's no MJ, it's like, come on, they're gonna run through the 90s.
That's facts, man.
They wouldn't run through the 2000s. Fuck out of here.
Hold on, let's go to the best fighter. Best fighter, what you got on this?
Shit, I think the 2000s was the best era because I think every team was balanced. Like you had like 2 superstars on one team or 2 all-stars, you could call them, on one team. The only people that really went back to back was the Lakers from 2000 to 2002 and 2008 through 2009 and 2010. And other than Kobe and Tim Duncan, you had like Allen Iverson, T-Mac, Ray Allen on the Supersonics and all that shit. So I think, that's the best era. I think the best defensive team was the 2004 Pistons and the 2008 Celtics. That's just my opinion because I want, I didn't really watch the 90s or 80s. So, yeah, that's just my take.
That's what's
and there was
up,
a
man.
real global league in the 2000s for the first time.
Facts.
That's what's up. Hey, CJ, what you got on this?
Hey man, good point, bro. Like you said, bro. The 2000 definitely happened. You still got Kobe Bryant. You still got Bron. You got KG. You got you even put Vince Carter and them boys in. So case can definitely be made. It could be the best era. You know what I'm saying? So I
That's
right on
what's
that.
up.
You see,
Facts.
the 2000 hat. You know what I'm saying? It was good. I like that. Defense was there too. They played defense, man. You had Steven Jackson, dudes that would get in your face. You know what I'm saying? Ronald Artest and them boys. So it was good.
I hear you on that. You got on this?
Man, it's the 2000. Listen, the 2000s era, man. That's where I grew up watching, man. The 2000s. Is the best era, in my opinion, in NBA history. I mean, 3 people in my top 5 played in the 2000s. So that just says, I mean, that just shows you how great that era was,
Who your top
in
five?
my opinion. I can tell you the 3 people in my top 5: Duncan, Kobe, and LeBron, all played in 2000s.
Hold on, we got some '90s lovers here. Hold on, we got
Bring them on in here.
Fajar's
Bring them on in here.
television.
Bring
He
them
says the
on in
'90s
here.
is the greatest. Hold on, Fahar,
No, it's
hold
not.
on.
Dude.
I know Elder and Fahar want to really chop it up, man.
Oh, this about to be good.
Definitely bring L then, because I want to talk about Jordan.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm gonna tell you.
Hold on, Elder. I'm gonna figure out. Hold on.
Hey, I'll leave so Ella can get in.
All right. Appreciate it, best fighter. Thanks for jumping in.
Hey, no doubt.
We got
Appreciate you for having me on.
too. No problem, bro.
I definitely want to talk about Jordan, dog.
Oh yeah, I know Renegade want to cook on this,
man. Listen,
because we're gonna have some crazy debates tonight.
Man,
Shout out. We got Soul Wave with the $2.99 cash app, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Soul Wavy.
Man,
like the logo, man. I love that logo.
Listen. All the team that.
Hold on. Hey, True. Hey, you notice something though, dog? Why when it comes to MJ, dog, everybody that he plays with, they knock down to build him up just as more, bro.
Man, let's be real. The team that I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna say this. The teams. Hold on. I'm gonna say this though, man.
Let True the King cook. Let True the King cook on this.
Yo, first of all, let's be real, man. Let's allow them 2000 teams that didn't win or won championships that will whoop on the 90s teams. Let's be real, man. Like let's be real, man. Let's be honest. Like them 08, the 08 Celtics team could beat majority of teams in the 90s for facts. That's not even debate. They could give them Bulls a run for their money. They could give them Bulls run for their money. That's a fact.
They gonna debunk what you saying, True, by saying this. You guys like fucked up. They was hand checking.
Come on, man.
That was defense. It was real defense.
Come on, man.
It was real defense in the 90s.
Hold on, we got Elder in here. I know he want to say something about this, but
that's my nigga.
But I think this is a losing battle for you, Elder. I don't know if you can win this one. But what you got? On?
It's all opinionated at the end of the day. Because all you guys that are giving an opinion, I guarantee you, none of you were born in the 70s. None of you were.
No,
I wasn't. So 1995.
I'm out.
89.
Hold on, let him go. Let him cook. Let him cook.
So if you wasn't born in the 70s, you didn't play ball in the 90s. So you never played, you never watched, you never experienced the 90s. Everything you're bringing is off stats, highlights. You don't have
no,
the
it's not.
feel. You don't
let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
The feel of the 90s. You just don't, because you never played in it. Now, I'm not coming on here to say that the 90s was the best era. I'm not coming on here to do that. What I'm coming on to say, though, is that Lamont full of shit. If you take away Jordan, you still have an era full of Hall of Famers. Again, Jordan was, here's the key, let me finish. Jordan was just that great. And actually what he did, Jordan set the model, and Chicago did, of how to structure a true team. One thing about the Bulls that people don't give them enough credit for, they were the greatest defensive teams in the NBA. Think about this. At one point, you had Michael Jordan, who is considered by a lot the best two-guard defender ever to play in the NBA. You had Scottie Pippen, who is considered by a lot the best three defender in the NBA. And you had Dennis Rodman, who was considered by a lot the best defender ever in the NBA, definitely the best defensive power forward in the NBA. I'm telling you, it was incredibly hard to score against the Bulls when they were focused. And yes, to answer your question, Jordan was that good. Even though these guys were great they were playing against, Jordan was that good, and his teammates were that good. You got 2 top 50 teammates on one team. In that era, we proved this the other day. You had 2 top 5 players on the same team at the same time. Because nobody could deny him that Pippen was a top 5 player in the NBA. He just was. So
A lot.
you take away Jordan, a lot more guys would have won championships, and basketball would have been fine. Defense was off the chain in the 90s. Because people think that all we did was hand check and foul. No, guys were great defenders too. On top of being able to hand check and foul. I came out and I graduated high school in 1990. So my career started in the 90s. And I was still able to play in the 2000s and the 2010 against the same level of competition. It's much easier for me. I'm 50 almost, y'all. I can still score with ease against this generation. It was much harder for me to score when I was in college and high school. Much harder. So I'm telling you, y'all don't know because you can't speak from experience. It's all conjecture. It's all opinionated. It's all off of stats. The problem y'all have is that Jordan was so great that y'all can't get over your mind. You just can't do it. But again, if you really knew basketball and you saw the construction of that team, the one thing Jordan did was have great defenders all the way around. That team had everything: defense, length, speed, shooting. Look at those rosters, y'all. Really look at their rosters close and see how much of a team the Chicago Bulls always was. They had guys that could post. They had guys that could rebound. They had defensive specialists all over the place. They had sharpshooters. They were good, great constructed team. That's why they dominated. And that's what they should have done. But that doesn't mean that the players in the 90s were weak just so they couldn't beat Jordan. No, it don't mean that.
Yeah, I got a rebuttal. Here's my quick rebuttal to that. See, here's the thing right here. At the end of the day, you know how I like to do. I like to go back and use the same standard that I don't want to say you specifically, but most people who make this basketball argument, I like to use the same common denominator when we talking about this. And the common denominator is, did you get it done? That's what elevates you to the next level of greatness. When you got there, did you get it done? Did you get a chip? And it's more players in this era who were able to get it done, regardless of what they were faced with, whether it was insurmountable odds. When you're talking about the Lakers, when they went up against the number 1 seed in Sacramento, and they had to, as the I wouldn't say underdog, but as the team without home court advantage, they had to beat that team. When you look at Dirk having to beat Miami, when you look at that, Kobe having to go up against the big 3 Celtics, it was comparable talent for guys to meet up against, and we didn't know who win. In the 90s, there was no guessing. When Jordan played, there was no guessing to it. The Bulls were going to win. There was no equal or comparable talents. I mean, they were all great players. There were great players, but there was nobody on that level. It was more balanced out. There were more superstars to help balance the tide in the 2000 era. This is why this is why it was, I think, Kobe's three-peat or Kobe and Shaq's three-peat is probably a little bit more credible than Jordan's because they did it in a tougher era, I think.
Yep. Hey, Lamont. Hey, mute somebody mic, man.
Hold on. Let me find out who it is. All right, I got it. Go ahead.
Lamont, imagine this. Y'all just saw who won the NBA championship. And one of the knocks against the Lakers this year, well, really against LeBron, is that he did it with 2 top 5 players on his team, correct? Is that not a true knock that a lot of people are saying?
That's bullshit, but
he won it. No, hold on. They said he had 2 top 5 players on his team this year.
They talking about it was him and AD.
Him and AD.
Okay, I got you.
So check this out.
Why that's a knock?
Imagine a team that has 2 top 5 players in their prime. And then you surround that team with the best defensive players in the NBA, and then give him 2 to 3 sharp shooters. That's why I'm telling y'all, go look the Bulls roster over this. They had role players until they rolled. They had when you look at that team, it was not missing anything that a team needs. When you look at that roster 1 through 15, I promise you this, the one thing you will not find is weakness. Like this year, the Lakers, right? What was the Lakers' weakness? Outside shooting,
3
right?
points, 3-point shoot. Yep.
You couldn't say that about the Bulls. The Bulls stroked it from the 3. Even though the 3 wasn't even popular back then, the few 3 they shot, them bookers made a bunch.
All the nigga wasn't struggling from 3 was Jordan, bum ass.
What about length? They had it. think about their starting 5. You got Ron Harper at point guard, Jordan at 2, Ron Harper 6'6", Jordan 6'6", Pippen 6'8". You got Rodman at 6'9", and you got Bill Cartwright or whoever at 2. You know what I mean? All they had length, bro. They had rebounding, they had strength, they had speed, they had youth, they had athleticism.
They had no big man.
Yeah, they did. Go look, bro.
That's what I said. I was about to ask. I was about to ask you. Hold up.
Hold on.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you something.
What they didn't have. What they didn't have. They didn't have a dominant center. But this is how they counted.
All right.
They was
the first team to run small ball.
Hold on. Go one at a time.
No.
Go one at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
Big
They
man
didn't
era.
Hey, they
So-called.
They would if they didn't have a dominant center who could like destroy you scoring, he was a great defensive center. And then they'd have a power forward that could post up. And then Jordan was a great post. Pippen had a great post game. They had 2-3 guys that could post. So they didn't need the center to post because they had 3 other guys that could do it. But that center was always a great defensive center. And they had multiple centers that could play defense. I'm just being real with y'all, man. When y'all look at that team over, those are the best constructed teams I have ever seen play in the NBA. But
they had no big man in a big man era.
And then in a big man era, think about it, in a big man era. But they
who the big man?
Bro, they had people like
how you think they compare to the 2000s?
Again, what you got to understand is this, bro.
Let's compare them. Let's compare them.
Bro, listen. Will you listen?
I'm listening. We can compare them instead of talking about
Hold on. Let's cook one at a time. Let's not get off topic. I don't want to compare teams because that's getting off topic. Let's stay on topic. No.
If he compares the centers, all he's gonna do is go to stats. And that ain't gonna tell the whole story.
I ain't talking about stats. I'm talking about skills.
Skills lead to points. And these guys, what they were made.
We ain't got to talk about stats. We could talk about skills, though.
What these guys were made for were for playing defense. You're not listening. That was their role.
But you play the game by putting the ball through the hoop, right?
Again, when you got the best scorer in the game, the best scorer ever in the NBA, I don't need my center to score when Jordan's getting me 35, Pippen's getting me 20.
And if I had a center that's more unable to be stopped than a little 6'6" guy, then what?
But that wasn't their role, though.
That what everybody on. Hey, here's the team. Here's the key, bro. When you have a team, do you have 5 scorers out there at the same time? No, you don't. Teams
but if the best scorer is the biggest person, you got the best shot, right?
This guy is young, I can tell. I don't need to talk to him. Teams normally have you don't understand basketball, bro, at all. Teams normally have scores, and then you want scoring coming off the bench. The Bulls had all that, but
they never faced the best.
Hold on. Let's go one at a time. Hey, Renegade, let him go one at a time. When he's done, we're gonna let you cook.
What the Bulls did with their centers is they used them as defensive stoppers, stopping guys that got to the basket. That's what they did. They didn't need their centers to score. Now they could score, but they weren't 20-point game scores because they didn't need them to be that. They played their role. They already had enough scoring coming from their forwards. And they always had good post guys. I'm telling you, y'all really go to look at the rosters, y'all would see a full, complete team. And they had great centers. And the centers would still score, but nobody else could. See, like Patrick Ewing, Kim Olajuwon, you weren't gonna stop those guys. And the Bulls know that. You just gotta make it hard for them. But when they had Rodman on the perimeter, they had Jordan on the perimeter, they had Pippen on the perimeter, nobody else was gonna get going on them books. And it was hard.
Yeah, they always had two top 5 defenders.
Bro, you got
top 5.
three.
But what I'm saying,
they had Ron Harper.
No, you have 3 top 5 defenders in the world right there. 3 between Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. Those are 3 of the top 5 defenders ever play basketball, bro.
Okay, but look now. Okay, they didn't have nobody. You said they got their big men to stop big people, right? But
I got their big men.
But the best centers in the 90s, the best center in the 90s was in the West. All right.
Who?
And the best center in the 90s was in the West, and that center cooked the Bulls damn near every time they faced each other, right?
Who won the games though?
The
Who
Rockets.
won the games? No,
the
they
Rockets.
didn't, bro. Go back and look.
Oh,
no,
yeah? What's the record? What's the record?
Go back and look.
What's the record?
Hey,
what's the
the
record?
proof is 6. Hey, they won six chips, bro.
All right.
They won
What's the
6
record?
chips. I don't have to look at their
What's
record.
the record? What's the record? What's
Hey,
MJ's?
because you don't understand basketball.
I think this. Hold on. I think.
Win-loss.
Hold on. I don't. That's like, again, we're getting off topic with that, because it's not about who's the better player, who's the better team. We're talking about the depth of superstar talent in your era. And when we talk about that, I think, Elder, you're kind of making my point that especially when you talk about a team like the Bulls, they were a great team. I give you that. They were a great team. But what I'm saying is that's just 3 players. And what I'm saying is there was a greatly constructed team, but as great as some of these other teams were constructed, like as great as the Bulls were constructed, how did no other team in the NBA come up with a team that could actually compete with them on a regular basis? And remember what I said? That's what it comes back to. Jordan was that great.
Again, what I want you to think about, this. Who won the championship this year? The Lakers. They have 2 top 5 players.
But they weren't the favorite to win it all.
But they was like the worst. They was one of the worst 3-point shooting teams too.
Now,
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Hey,
that's the parity.
Think about this. I'm trying to get y'all to see it. Take that team, because the Lakers, LeBron's not in his prime, right? So take the 2 of the top 5 players in the game. You got number 1 and probably number 5 back then in the game. And
they
in their
both
prime,
bigger.
though. They're in their prime. They're not,
and they both bigger.
They're in their prime. And you surround them with great defenders and sharpshooters. That makes for a beautiful team, because you fill the boxes.
But that's the problem. Jordan retired and came back and did it again. What are the odds of being able to construct that same thing twice and do it twice?
You know why? Because the second time, that's when they added Rodman. You added the best. Listen, you added the best rebounder.
And you know what? Wait,
the best defender.
Hold on. Are you trying to defend? Right? Is this a defense for why those other guys didn't win? That sounds like.
Can I chime in?
Hold on.
Can I? Okay.
You will. Hold on. Lamont, you asked the question, was Jordan them that great? And I'm telling you they were.
No, I know they were great.
But it doesn't take away from the greatness of the other guys. The Bulls just did it right.
I know, but
for a decade.
One of the characteristics of a superstar is being able to overcome astronomical odds. And
not the GOAT, though.
Hold on, but what I'm saying is you got to overcome sometimes. And when you overcome, that's what elevates. See, again, I mean, we can say it was because of Jordan, because I always know when we talk about the 90s, if we're talking about anybody other than Jordan, the reason why they didn't win is always going to come down to because of Jordan. So what I'm saying is, how come they couldn't overcome? But we've seen superstars, single superstars overcome. It might just be for 1 year. It might just be for 2 years, but we've seen them overcome. We saw Dirk overcome. We saw the Pistons overcome without a big time superstar on the team, just a great defensive team. We saw other teams overcome. We never saw a team in the 90s overcome the greatest player. See, that's my problem. That's why I say
so what you're telling. So what you're saying is, you're going to penalize the Bulls for.
I'm not penalizing the Bulls. Hold on, I didn't penalize the Bulls because I've always stated the 72 and 10 Bulls. greatest team of all time. I gave Pippen his props. I say Pippen's top five in the 90s all the time. I give them their props. What I'm talking about is everybody else and the superstar depth of the 90s. See, the superstar. I'm not criticizing the Bulls.
Let's pick apart the 2000s then. Let's pick apart the 2000s then.
Hold on. Let's stay on the 90s because I'm picking apart everybody else. I'm not picking apart the Bulls. I'm picking apart everybody else for not doing their job.
Hey, nobody else in any other era has had to face a player on Jordan's level.
Kobe?
No.
Nah.
And I'm a Kobe fan.
Hold on.
Absolutely not.
I only say that now. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to let y'all cook. I'm going to say one thing. We can only say that because Jordan never lost. There was no superstar that actually overcame and could beat him. See, there were Tim Duncan actually overcame and beat Kobe. So y'all can devalue Kobe and say, oh, he actually got beat. No. See, that's the thing. They overcame. Nobody in the 90s could overcome.
Let me tell you one difference between Kobe and Jordan. You want to know what it is? No. You want to know what it is?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And you know outside shot. No. Kobe never had a team constructed around him until later in his career. Kobe didn't get teams made for him until later in his career, and that's when he went to 3 straight championships. Jordan, from day one, they start constructing the team around him, drafting, trading for players, getting free agents. It was all built around Jordan. Kobe never had that until he was full-fledged into his career, and he was in the back half of his career when he got it. So
can I
see? Hey, this is why Duncan and people like that is coming. Everybody that overcame Kobe, I guarantee you have a superstar on that team. Well, that team was built around that superstar. That's why.
What's Hakeem record against MJ?
That's it. I just think that's an excuse. Hold on, let's go. Kenneth. Hold on, I'm gonna let Kenneth chime in. I know he been wanting to cook on this. Go ahead, cook, Kenneth, and I want to see what you got on this.
All right, I'm going to start poking holes in the 2000s. All right. Let me start by saying this. The 3P Lakers, how many of their players spent the better portion of their prime careers in the 90s? People always forget that their best player, Shaquille O'Neal, played 7-8 years in the 90s. And truthfully, I think he was better because he was a better defender in the 90s. Plus, he even said it himself, he didn't really have any centers to go against him in the 2000s. Rick Fox played in the 90s. I'm talking about like 5-6 years in the 90s. Robert Horry, 5-6 years, 7 years in the 90s. Glenn Rice, 90s. Brian Shaw, 90s. Okay, all these guys played a good portion of their career in the 90s. And when the Bulls, like the brother is saying, when the Bulls broke up, those 90s players just went on ahead and took over and dominated your so-called great league. Whoa, it don't stop there.
So
I hold on. I always thought.
But Kenneth, hold on. I'm gonna
go ahead.
I don't want you to go off on a tangent talking about Indy. I'm not talking about teams. See, y'all keep going to teams. I'm talking about the depth of superstars that you could run into on your way. So regardless of what team you're on, you're going to see a superstar on the way there that's going to be formidable. So what I'm saying is when we saw LeBron run into another superstar in Dirk, and Dirk played above anybody's expectations and won that championship. We saw the Celtics, we saw the Pistons. I don't want you to pinpoint one team and try to say, oh, they weren't as great. No, we're talking about the superstars because I run down this list. See, I got a list here.
Okay. Number
22 on the list is a superstar in the 2000s. We got Carmelo Anthony at 22. Who would disagree that he's a superstar? And so that means there are 21 other players that could have considered to be superstars in the 2000s. Can you name 20 superstars of the 90s? I highly doubt it. You can't. What I'm saying is,
I can.
You can name 20.
Yeah, I think you can too. I mean, if you're going to qualify Carmelo Anthony as a superstar, I mean,
hold on. Are you saying
superstar in the 90s?
Are you saying Carmelo Anthony at his height was not a superstar?
Oh,
At his
here's the key. Hey, Lamont, I would like for you to read the other 21 names because we may not agree that they're superstars. We may not. Just
Nah,
because
but
they got Carmelo.
And when I say this, I'm talking
We can
about.
talk about it.
I'm not saying that they were superstars their entire career. There were years where they played at superstar levels. Like when I look at Tony Parker, Tony Parker played at a superstar level at times.
No, to me,
that's true.
To me, once
because he led a team to a championship by himself.
You don't become
Tony
a
Parker is
superstar.
not a
But nah,
superstar.
King
That's
was
what
a
you
No,
jacked up.
that's not what I
I
said.
bet you,
That's
I
not
what you
bet you
jacked up.
believe, but nah,
That's
King
not
was
what I
a
said.
That's what
I
you
said-
jacked up at.
Hold on, I said he played at superstar level.
No,
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
That's what you jacked up at.
He
Because
has.
a superstar is determined by multitude. You can't be a superstar after 1 year.
That's
You
not
can't.
true. That's not true.
Name me a player that's a superstar for 1 year. Name me.
Luka.
Bro, Luka had 2 great years already.
You said multitude. Hold on. Tony Parker had 2 great years, so I'll use 2 great years from Tony Parker.
Okay.
Nah, Tony Parker was solid.
I was talking.
Tony Parker was solid. He wasn't ever great.
There was a point in time in the playoffs where he was unstoppable.
Tony
He was
Parker
unguardable.
Well, you can say that players get hot. I mean, Andre Iguodala won the Finals MVP. I mean, come on, man.
Well, I'll put it like this: Chris Webber, when he was on the Kings, he was playing like he was a superstar at that time. That's Kings team, Arco Arena, superstar, and that's just
another 90s player. But go ahead. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
You can say that, but his heights, his greatness of his peak was in the 2000s.
Again, Chris Webber had multiple.
Again, you can say they played in the 90s. I'm talking about what he did in the 2000s. A collection of talent in the 2000s. We got Dwight Howard. Would you deny that he was a superstar?
He'd be Alonzo Mourning in the 90s.
No,
I don't care. I'm saying, would you deny that Dwight Howard was a superstar?
He was.
In the 2000s, yeah, but you put him in the 90s, he'd be Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe Mutombo.
You can say that, but that's not the case. Was Paul Pierce a superstar?
Based on what skill set?
Paul Pierce.
Do you think they're more athletic?
Hold on, Renegade. At one point in time, especially when he's with Seattle, Ray Allen was a superstar, correct?
Correct. He was.
What I'm saying, Tracy McGrady. Do we have to even answer that? Yes, he was a superstar. What I'm saying is Dirk. We know he was a superstar, and he went and got a ring by himself. Not necessarily by himself. He had a great team around him, but he was really the only all-star or superstar level player on that team. No one else was really considered an all-star, even though Jason Terry played at all-star levels sometimes. Jason Kidd, superstar, correct?
Yes.
I agree with that. I agree.
Steve Nash, superstar.
You already know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but at the time, you cannot take away 2 MVPs. He didn't get the championships, but he got the hardware. He played like a superstar. He was playing at superstar level, and again, he didn't do it the way y'all like to see it. He
did it multiple years.
Hold on, but Lamont, at least half the players you've named so far have played about 5 years.
We're talking about the collection of talent in the 2000s. Again, I don't care where they start.
And you're comparing it to the 90s, right?
Hold on, but look, Steve Nash didn't come into being Steve Nash until the 2000s.
Well, we can say why that happened. Maybe he wasn't good enough.
No, you can say that. Hold on, but I'm talking about what he did in the 2000s. The 2000s. This is why I say you can try to get nitpicking who's better. I'm talking about this is what made 2000s basketball greater than 90s basketball because all of these players were great.
They were
in the
drafted
90s.
in the 90s.
Hold on, we're gonna go to D Wade. Do y'all agree D Wade was a superstar?
Yes.
Superstar. Okay, LeBron, obviously, we don't even have to go with LeBron. We know AI was a superstar. Great. You can say he started in the 90s, but he was a superstar in the 2000s. Come on, man. Kevin Garnett. Do we got to even really talk about that? You can say that he started in the 90s. He was a superstar in the 2000s, and he won championships in the 2000s. Tim Duncan, same thing. We don't have, and then we got Shaq and Kobe. And there's still more you can talk about, more great players. We didn't even talk about the Baron Davises or the Gilbert Arenases, or even guys like Brandon Roy, whose career got shortened by injuries. I mean, and Brandon Roy was considered the second best shooting guard in the league behind Kobe at one point in time. So I can run down a list of great players, which Brandon Roy was considered a superstar for maybe a year or two before his knees gave out on him. And even Baron Davis had some superstar caliber years in him before he started getting hurt.
Facts.
I mean, we can go on. We can go on and on and on talking about the level of talent. It was just much deeper. So you can pinpoint and nitpick certain teams, but you're going to lose because we're not talking about one particular team. We're talking about the depth of superstar talent across the league that just made basketball great in that era. And that's all I'm talking about.
I mean, go
I
ahead,
got a
brother. Go
list
ahead.
I'm looking at, and it's naming 90 stars, right? Guess who's number 30 on that list? Guess who's number 30 on that list?
Oh,
Dan Marley.
Oh my
He's
God.
all the way at 30.
That don't surprise me. That's where he belongs.
Oh my God. Guess who's in front of him? At 29. Dominique Wilkins.
He didn't win. He got no hardware.
Eight
Does he,
seasons,
hold on.
though.
Does he have any hardware?
Seasons in the 90s. He
Does he
played
have
8
any,
seasons.
does he have any type of hardware? MVP, anything? Championship?
He made his name in the
no.
80s.
The 90s, we already know they're not going to have a lot of hardware. You already know that.
I'm just wondering, but I'm just saying. So that
But
just
I can go through this list, and these names that are on this list are just as comparable as the names you know.
no, but you can say the names are comparable. But see, my criteria is different. My criteria is based off of winning and hardware, getting the job done. So again, if they didn't get the hardware, or accomplish anything as far as championships, I don't consider that as greatness.
But Lamont,
You got more of a
again,
chance with my
I get you.
criteria than
Hold
criteria.
on.
My criteria.
Yeah, and it's nothing. I actually agree with your criteria, Lamont. But here's the problem: it's like I keep saying, these guys, a lot of these guys you name, had the same opportunity in the 90s and couldn't get it done, but they got it done in the 2000s.
We're talking about the
So
collection. of talent.
you
We're
got
talking about
to.
the
Why did that happen?
The collection.
I mean, at least when you're talking about Jordan, when you're talking about Jordan in the 80s, you can say, hold on, just real quick, Lamont, I'm sorry. When you're talking about Jordan in the 80s, you can say that he went up against the Celtics and the Pistons, right? But I mean, a lot of these guys you mentioned, Shaq, Chris Webber, Jason Kidd, you know, I mean, and these great teams. I mean,
but here's the point. Here's the point, though. What we got to also note is that on average, most players don't hit their prime until year 6, 7, and 8. So by year 6, 7, and 8 for most of these players, it was when? It was the 2000s. So their prime years, they was in 2000. So I don't expect the player to just jump right in as a rookie and just say be a superstar. No, it takes time. Not everybody can just dive right in and be by year 6, 7, and 8 superstar years. If you and that same thing, we saw that with Iverson, all the players that I mentioned. We're talking about prime years 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hey, all I know is I'm looking at this 90s list. It's got a lot of stars on this list.
But hold on. How, if you back it up with some hardware, if you're gonna mention their name.
Oh, okay. All the people you named got hardware? No.
Oh, a lot of them do.
Not all of them.
Oh, more of them mine.
Not all of them.
Yours. More of mine do than yours.
And again, that goes to speak to a more watered down era. Jordan just dominated his era. That's all.
Now it's back to Jordan again. Now you're gonna blame Jordan.
Whoa.
Hold on. I started this off by saying you can't talk about the 90s without saying because of Jordan.
That's a fact, though. He won 6. He won 6 out of 10 championships. So it's obvious that players in the 90s are not going to have the hardware of other players.
No,
it's just
but that just goes to my point. The
but
lack of
who
superstar depth.
did they play in the 2000s that was like Jordan? Nobody.
Kobe.
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And
I'm a Kobe fan. No, he didn't play.
Baby
they didn't
Kobe.
play the player, nor did they play the stacked team. They didn't do it.
Oh, hold on. The Celtics wasn't
Kobe.
stacked?
Not in the 90s. No.
I'm talking about the big
Kobe.
3 Celtics. I'm talking about the big 3 Celtics.
Kobe cooked
Hey, here's the
Pip
key.
and
Lamont,
MJ at the
all
same
of those
time
guys-
before he got
all of these
Shaq.
guys were towards the end of their prime. So no, they weren't stacked. No. They were all towards the end of their prime. You know it. All of them were.
That's
Paul
not
Pierce,
true.
Ray Allen. It was all towards the end of their prime. All of them guys.
No. Well, as soon as the big 3 and the Celtics got together, that first year they got together, everybody picked them to win it all. I don't care how old they were instant championship favorites.
But they weren't multiple favorites. They weren't gonna run the table for 6 to 10 years. No. Now when LeBron went to what's the name, they thought that about them because why? All those guys are in their prime. That's why I'm saying y'all are missing that point.
But did they win? Did they win every time? They didn't win every time.
Hey, Lamont, you're missing that point that I'm trying to get to. That point I'm trying to get to y'all at about the Bulls, what people don't understand. You had 2 top 5 players in their prime on the same team. That's what everybody.
Let's look at it from a different perspective.
Real quick before you go, I'm gonna say this and I'm done. Imagine if you had LeBron in his prime and AD in his prime, and they just won a chip now. How many would you expect them to win? And we just starting the 2020s. So they win 2020 championship. Imagine LeBron is 26 instead of 36.
But we've been
how many would you expect them to win?
I got you. My question, I can answer it though. But we had this same song happen before when he in their prime he got with D Wade and Bosh, and everybody said we expect them to win all these championships until they ran into a superstar called Dirk Nowitzki.
Hey, here's the key.
Superstar overcame. He overcame the odds.
Lamont, all they did was show you that LeBron is not on Jordan's level. That's all.
That's not Or there's just more. Or the superstars in this era just are able to overcome the odds because they're greater.
I guarantee you this. There's not a superstar in the 2000s. If they had to go up against Jordan back then, they would have lost too. I guarantee you.
Every single one. Everyone. You ain't lying about that. Every single one.
This is why he's the GOAT, bro.
That's nostalgia. That's nostalgia you're talking. That's not.
No, it's not. Lamont. Lamont, when were you born?
90.
That's your problem. You never.
That's exactly what it is.
You don't
that's
understand
exactly
what you're watching at 6 years old, 8 years old. You don't understand what you're watching.
Yeah. Let me lay it out. Let me lay it out. Let me lay it out like this, okay? Like the brother was saying, and everything he said, I agree with 100%. The Bulls were just on another level. Okay, even when you take away Jordan, right? You take away Jordan.
Kenneth, take away. Let's not. Okay, Ken. I want you to talk about the '90s and how great it is. Talk about all those players' accomplishment and don't mention Jordan. Tell me why the '90s was great. Don't mention Jordan.
But don't mention Jordan in the Bulls. They say why the '90s was great. Don't mention Jordan in the Bulls, right?
Who dominated the era though? They dominated.
Yeah, I mean you're going to take away the. You're going to take away the team that dominated the era and then say don't. I mean you can't do this. Okay. How about this? You said the 2000s. You said the 2000s is the greatest era. Take away the Lakers.
Yeah, and they're still great.
No, they. How? Yes. No, you taking away 5 championships.
Hold on.
You taking away 5 championships.
Hey, Kenny, I just said, hold on. I told you to take away one player. I said take away Jordan. I've already given you guys earlier. I said
I was already going to take away Jordan. Okay, let's take. You look at the Bulls when they took Jordan off the team.
Okay, there we go.
Take away Kobe.
I'll take away Kobe. I already said that.
That's 5 championships gone. That's 5 of them gone.
I'll take away.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm not talking about. Hold on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about superstar depth. And what superstars accomplished.
Lamont, here's the key. With no Kobe, that means Shaq ain't winning because he ain't winning nothing without Kobe.
How do you know? How do you know?
He don't.
How do you know?
Because we saw what he did from 1993 to 1999.
No,
hold on.
That wasn't his prime years.
That wasn't his prime years. That wasn't his prime years. His prime years was in the 2000s.
Okay. Well, I mean, look. All I can say is there's a lot of players that didn't wait 8 or 9 years before they finally won a championship. Most didn't do that.
I think you're running from the fact that you can't talk about the 90s without talking about Jordan. If one man
dominated the 90s,
can't have the best era of all time.
You can, but that's not fair, Lamont. Like he said, you could do that with the 2000s. You take away Kobe. You take away Kobe. The Lakers are done.
I can talk.
You take away Magic. You take away Magic from the 80s. It's a whole different dynamic. You take away maybe the 70s is the only one you could probably say that about.
Hey, Shoplord said Shaq won with Wade. Stop it, Elder.
He got one.
That's all we need. That's one more than a lot of people got in the 90s.
We can go with that. We can go with that one.
That's one more than Barkley, Malone, Ewing. That's one more than a lot of them guys.
It's not one more than Pippen. It's not one more than Elijah Wan. Who else won in the 90s? Who won at the end of the 90s? I don't even know.
Yeah, with the Spurs. The Spurs won in '99.
Oh, so Duncan, yeah. So Duncan would be in that era. He won in the 90s.
Yeah, but that was my argument from the get-go. The teams that dominated the 2000s all was
So you
in
got
the 90s. I mean,
you got
Oh.
you got
So
Duncan.
hold on. Are you saying Jordan is an 80s player then?
no, he's a 90s player.
Okay, stop
No,
it.
no,
Just
no.
stop
What do you mean
it.
80s? He
Stop
didn't
it.
win in the
Just
80s.
stop
Jordan
it.
didn't win in the
Stop
80s.
it. Stop it.
Jordan
Stop
didn't win in
it.
the 80s.
You're
Stop
debunking
it.
you're debunking your own argument.
Jordan never
You're
won in the
basically-
80s, Lamont.
No, that
When
means
did
that the
Jordan win in
80s
the
are the
80s?
best era. That means 80s are the best era since Jordan
Jordan
dominated
never
that era.
won in the 80s. Duncan
Yes.
won in the 90s.
Yeah, but they called Jordan God in the 80s.
No,
Larry
they
Bird
didn't.
did. Larry
Jordan
Bird did.
never won in the 80s.
Larry Bird called him God after he dropped 63.
No, no.
He said
no.
he's Jesus. He said he was Jesus.
Black Jesus. They said that stuff in New York, but no, nobody called him that. He never won in the 80s. Never.
Right. Yeah, he
And
never.
did what you said, Lamont.
Now it's back to winning now.
He got to his prime in the 90s and won through the
He
whole.
did. That's why I say you can't. But Kenneth is the one keeps saying, "Oh, they started in the '90s." I tried to
So
get him
why
away
isn't
from
the
that.
80s? Why isn't the 80s better than the 90s if Jordan was born in the 80s? Why isn't the 80s better
Or
than the 90s?
started playing
He
in the
didn't
80s.
win,
I'm
though.
going off your logic.
He didn't win.
I mean, I
No.
don't think one is really better than the other, but I just find it ironic. Yeah, I've been having these conversations for almost
Y'all-
30,
y'all moving
almost
the
30.
goalposts.
Oh, wait. I'm going to say this, and I'll tell anybody this. I've been having the same type of conversation for the last 25, 30 years, right? And it's always some of the decade, some of the team or whatever against the 90s, Jordan, or the Bulls. Always that. Always. Right? It just, but prior to this, it was the 80s. Right? Then, and sometimes people speak on the 70s. Then it was 2000s. I get it. Then go ahead.
You guys are the one that self-proclaimed the '90s is the greatest era of basketball.
I
I'm just
did
telling
not. Stop.
No, I never said that. I say the Bulls are the greatest team ever, but I never say the 90s is better than any
What I
era.
said
What are you
to
debating for?
What I said to you, Lamont, was that even if you took Jordan out, that don't make the 90s trash. We still had a lot of great Hall of Famers in the 90s.
Hold on. The '90s would be the '80s without Magic and Bird if Jordan. Would you take Jordan out?
Whatever. You still had great players in that era, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? All it is, you take away Jordan, right? Ewing probably has a couple of rings.
Yep.
Malone probably has a couple of rings.
Hold on. But see, if Dirk, so you saying there was a lot of players that could have used that excuse when they went up against the Miami Heat and LeBron James. They could have said, "Oh well, we could have won if you didn't get it simple." No, they just said, "Forget that, we're gonna beat you." They said, "Forget that, we're gonna beat you," and he went out and got the job done.
They only won 2 championships.
I think the Heat more beat themselves. If LeBron James doesn't wet the bed like he did in 2011.
Bingo. And all
hold on.
Come on, man. You can't penalize Jordan because LeBron James played like garbage in 2011.
You're answering your question, Lamont. You're answering your question. You're answering your question. You're answering your question when you go there about LeBron them in Miami. Was Jordan just that great? Yes, he was.
No, he just said that. No, there were no superstars on his level. Nobody was on his level.
There are no other stars on his level that's ever played. That's why he's the GOAT, Lamont.
Kobe did. Kobe was.
No, Lamont. And I'm
LeBron was.
Kobe was not on Jordan's level.
Kobe cooked him and Pippen at the same time.
Hold on. Didn't Kobe get him 51?
Kobe was not on Jordan's level. And I am a Kobe fan.
Stop. Why did Jordan even
hold
say
on,
it?
tell on, Lamont. Give me another name then besides Kobe.
What? In what era? In this
You talking about the 2000s?
Oh, D-Wade.
He's on Jordan's level?
For 1 year, he was.
Oh my God, Lamont.
Nah. If D-Wade in the refs, D-Wade in the refs. Come on, man. I never seen somebody get so much credit for what he did in 3 games. Come on, man. I mean,
hold on.
Dwayne Wade, they overweight Wade, man.
Hold on, no. I'm capping right there. But what I'm saying is this.
Totally capping.
Hold on, but what I'm saying is right there. Teams just didn't allow themselves to get ran over by one man.
They couldn't stop Jordan from doing it, and the team was that good, bro. These guys were just as good, if not better than them players. Them stars in the
the Bulls did not three-peat in the 2000s. They don't three-peat in the 2000s.
Yeah,
Yes,
they do.
they
No,
do.
they
Yeah, they
don't.
do.
No, they won't.
Yeah,
No
they
way.
do.
No
There's
way.
no team. There's no team
No,
I see
no,
beating
hold
them.
on. That's not y'all not being honest now. Y'all say the Bulls
Yes,
get
we are,
three
Lamont.
in the
Lamont.
2000s.
Lamont.
No way. No
Lamont, I'm
way.
gonna tell you the difference.
No
And
way.
people, hey, hold on. I'm gonna give you an example. When old boy went to Miami, imagine LeBron James going to Miami, and imagine LeBron James with the mentality of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. How many chips do you think Miami would have won then?
Hold on. Say that. Hold on. Say that. Let me get the super chat real quick. I'm gonna have you repeat that question. We got Unknown Messiah, $2 super chat. Celtics in the 60s are the greatest team. 11 chips. We're not talking about teams. So, and then we got top notch ride 88 with the $3 super chat. Appreciate that. But go ahead, repeat that question. Elder.
If you take that team that LeBron started down there in Miami, because those guys in their prime, if LeBron James had the same mentality that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan,
Here we go.
if he just had Dame Dollar mentality, how many chips do you think Miami would have won?
Oh my God.
They wouldn't.
You talking about jump shooters? You know that?
No. You would the mentality.
Yeah.
The
You
mentality
talking
is what
about jump
separates-
shooters?
The mentality of LeBron is what separates him from the greats. It's his
The mentality of taking a jump shot.
Again,
That's
LeBron
what you're talking about.
LeBron jumper is
Who got a better jumper? Who got a better jumper?
Both
D.
of them
Lily
guys got a
or
better jumper
Bron?
than LeBron. But LeBron's jump shot
Who got a
is
worse? Who got a worse jump shot?
Renegade,
That you
don't fall
talking
into
about
that.
this mentality stuff about?
Renegade, don't fall into that because it's not about a mentality.
I mean, we got to tackle these. We got to tackle these. We got to tackle this logic too.
Lamont. The reason,
that's not what we're talking about.
Lamont.
All right.
The reason I got to bring that up is because of your question. I'm bringing this stuff up because of your question, Lamont. Was Jordan that good? And I'm showing you why he was, Lamont.
Or hold on, but here's my counter question. Or was just everybody else not that good?
No, they were great. They were great.
Prove it.
They were great.
Hold on, Twizzy in the super chat. How that Kobe mentality worked in 2004? No, that team fell apart. That was internal stuff. I give y'all that. That was internal dysfunction.
Kobe shot them out the championship in 2004.
But they had a lot of internal beefs going on. It was internal beefs going on. They didn't get along.
That team quit. They were hurt.
When your team is toxic internally, you're not going to win. We saw that with the Clippers.
Yeah.
So that was an anomaly. That team should have won. Now they beat themselves. I give you that for 2004. They beat themselves.
The mentality you want to speak about is what got them to 3 championships in a row, 4 out of 5 years, and then another 3 in a row. That's the mentality you want to speak about with Kobe. Same mentality that Jordan had. 3 in a row, take a year or so off, 3 more in a row. That's a specific mentality.
See here, I'm not trolling. This is a legitimate conversation. This is not trolling. This is all legitimate.
Again, Lamont, if you notice, hey, what's up, C Hill? So what's up? Hey, Lamont, if you notice, I keep going back to your question. And y'all want to degrade Jordan for being the greatest.
We're not. We're not degrading them. No, we're not.
You keep trying to come back to, well, what if this is the fake? No, you're trying to say the players are bad and Jordan is not that great.
They didn't overcome. But one of the things that makes you great, little Elder,
can't overcome the GOAT.
But hold on, but can't you admit
that's why you're the greatest of all time?
An element of greatness. And one of the things that we talk about Jordan that made him great is that he eventually overcame the Pistons. Like when we talk about overcoming, one thing that Dirk is always going to go down in his books that he overcame and beat a
you're
team.
wrong.
The same with the Pistons in 04. Like even though how overcoming it doesn't make you great.
Every great is a lot of great players that have had to do that. All of them have to get over the hump eventually. But the thing that separates Jordan is once he got over the hump, whenever he would get there, he would win. Whenever he would get there, he would win.
Okay, so Elder, my point is
who else can say they never lost in a championship?
I know, Elder, but what I'm saying is, all I'm saying is this, this is why I say you're making my point. If you're saying one man was so great that he took over an entire era, then how can that era be the greatest era of basketball?
Because they played against the greatest. That's why.
Ooh. Oh man.
They played against the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, like I was trying to say earlier, you got to look at it like this, bro. When you talking about the Bulls, even when Michael Jordan abruptly retired. Hey, can y'all hear me better now?
Yeah, you said Jordan retired.
All right. Yeah. So even when Michael Jordan retired, the Bulls were still competing for a championship. It was just a great team, led by the greatest ever. I mean, even if you go back to the 80s when the Bulls was playing the Celtics, the 86 Celtics is considered probably a top 5 team ever, right? The Bulls almost actually they didn't beat them, but one of them games, the Bulls almost beat them. You know, in that best of 3. You know, and that was Michael Jordan coming off a broken ankle, right? No Hall of Famers around him. You know, according to him, a bunch of cracked out cokeheads playing alongside of him. You know, I mean, come on, man. At some point, it is what it is. I mean, when Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant came into their own, and they played the '80s, you know, the Showtime Lakers and the Bad Boy Pistons, those two teams combined got one win off of them. One win. You can't penalize the '90s, but the teams in the '90s
because they're great.
Because of who? Jordan? Hold on. Are you saying I'm penalizing them because of one player?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I am. Yes. I am penalizing them because of one player. That's why they can't be the best era of all time.
But nobody.
That's all I'm saying. Hold on. Jordan was. Yeah. I'm not gonna take this away from you. Jordan is the GOAT. Jordan was great. I have Jordan as my GOAT. I always say this because he dominated his era better than anybody else dominated their era. That's in my opinion. Individually, He dominated, and regardless of, you only can play whoever's in front of you. So I'm not knocking him for having to play whoever was right in front of him. All I'm saying is the depth of talent in the 2000s was far greater than that of the 90s, and it would be much harder for him to accomplish what he did in the 90s in the 2000s.
So you're saying like the great players, like you mentioned Jason Kidd, you know, and those guys were, I mean, I would have to go back and look at like maybe the All-Star games in the 2000s. You know, I mean, I look even like the Dream Team. I mean, that wasn't even the best team the Dream Team could field. You know, I mean, you could have took off Christian Laettner and put Shaq in, and took off old ass Larry Bird and put in Isaiah Thomas. I don't know like what you're expecting from these teams, man. When nobody in the 2000s or 80s. Nobody was fucking with the Bulls. Nobody was.
That's fine. Hold on, but you're repeating something that I agree with. I agree. But all I'm saying is that cannot make you the best era of basketball all time if your era was dominated by one team.
Man, I tell you this. I would
one player. Hold on, not one team. One man.
You know what I would have loved to see, Lamont? You know what I would love to see? Because pretty much the Dream Team was a combination of players from the 90s. The best players of the 90s is what it was. I would have loved to see that Dream Team go against the best All-Stars in the 2000s. I would have loved to see who could have won that game. Nobody knows. Everybody has their thoughts and opinions. But that Dream Team, I would have loved to see them go against whatever All-Star team you want to put together with the 2000 guys. I would have loved to see that.
Well, based on how I saw some of them 2000 guys cooking Jordan when he was with the Wizards, I don't think it would play out too well for him.
Come on, stop it. Come on, stop it. Come on, stop it. Boy, you such a capping, man. You right about that. All those guys in their 40s. All them guys was in their 40s.
Hey, Lamont, what they would tell them, bring your old cigar smoking ass over here.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's the highlight of their career, too. Scoring on a 40-year-old Michael Jordan. That's the highlight of all the three.
Hey,
you know, I mean,
at least Kobe gave him the business while he was still
Elder. If me and you ever play one-on-one, if I crossed you up, that's gonna be a highlight. I don't care about age, none of that. We get on the court.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
And if you beat me, I'm sure, like I said, regardless.
I'll tell you this. You ain't gonna treat me like Jordan. I promise you won't. You ain't treat me like that. You ain't getting a W against me. I'm winning. Oh, no. Ain't no way I'm letting y'all beat me. No way.
Oh man.
I never heard the end of it.
I can't wait to see LJ
wait
hit
till I play
man,
tick.
bro.
Wait till
I
I play
can't wait
tick.
to see.
Wait till I play tick. And all y'all gonna be like, man, bump this.
Hey, I gotta come see that, bro. I gotta see that in live, bro.
Oh,
I gotta see that live.
Nah, that's
I don't do that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, you could say that, but I mean, but what was it? The dream team that won the bronze medal. What team was that, and who did they have on that team? I know they had LeBron. They didn't have Kobe. I think.
Oh yeah, that team. Yeah.
Hold up.
I mean,
hold up. At that time, I think LeBron was coming off the bench.
LeBron wouldn't come off no bench.
He never came off the bench.
They had a lot of them.
No.
Not on the Olympic team.
I gotta go back and hold up. Let me pull that up right now.
Not on the
LeBron was really 19 years
LeBron
old.
wouldn't come off no
What
bench.
year was that?
He was really 19 years old. Okay.
They had.
I want to say, was it 2006?
Hey, this
I
Courtney
don't remember.
Halsey. They had plenty of guys that could guard all of those
2008.
guys. They had guys that could guard KD. They had guys that could guard LeBron. They had guys that could guard Kobe.
No, they didn't. Hold on. But Elder, there was really only a hand. I mean, your centers was your primary defenders.
Go back and
on the perimeter, yeah, there wasn't a lot of defenders other than
Go
Jordan.
back, go back and look at that dream team, bro.
Hold on. We got somebody new in the chat. We got somebody new. I want to let him chop up. Oh, he jumped out. Never mind. I was about to let him in.
Who guarding Kevin Durant in the 90s, dog?
Anybody? Kevin Durant?
What?
Oh, Scotty. Scotty Pippen guards Durant.
Oh, Scotty Pippen would get fucked up by Kevin Durant, bro. Stop.
Hey, why don't you go look up what hey, how tall is Tony Allen? What is he, like 6'4"?
6'5".
Why don't you go look at what Tony Allen did to Kevin Durant? Man, if Scottie Pippen, if you put a situation where Scottie Pippen had to worry about nothing else but defending Kevin Durant, he would get in his ass.
That's a lie. Hold on.
Go look at what Tony Allen did to Kevin Durant. Go look.
Hold on. Let Mr. Moss cook for a little bit. I know he was wanting to get in on this. Go ahead, Mr. Moss.
Hey, salute to everybody, man.
Salute.
I'm with Elder on this one, Lamont, man. I mean, listen, Jordan faced more 60-win teams in the finals than anybody in NBA history.
That's an easy debunk.
If you want to
go, hold on. If you want to go that route, Jordan said
let
him cook, Lamont.
Let him cook.
All right, go ahead. My bad. You're right.
No, it's good, man. And also, too, if you go back in history, guys, and you look at those guys in the 90s, you had more guys back then who can dribble, pass, and shoot. They were more skilled. Nowadays, it's a 3-ball or get straight to the basket. A lot of guys these days, their game's got holes in it. Back then, a lot of guys can dribble, pass, and shoot.
Hey, yo, Miss Ma, you gotta shut your chair on. Yo, shut your chair down, yo. Shut your chair. Hey, you just lied. Like, you just lied. That's a biggest lie. You just lied. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm gonna finish. That's a lie.
Hold on, fella.
Let him cook.
I'm my fault. My fault. That was the biggest lie. My fault.
Hold on, man.
I know.
Hold on.
Let him cook.
What he's speaking to is IQ, y'all. He's speaking to IQ. And
y'all, he said skill. He didn't say
that, Elder. Elder, he didn't say that, Elder.
That's what he's saying.
No, Elder, don't bail him out.
Hey, Lamont.
He didn't say that, Elder.
Is y'all gonna let me cook?
Hold on.
Is y'all gonna let me go?
Hold on, Mr. Moss. I'm putting people on mute. Hold on. I'm gonna put people on mute. Go ahead, Mr. Moss.
So before I get to what I really want to say, when I said there's more guys in the 90s that I feel like can dribble, pass, and shoot more so than these guys, yeah, some of the elite guys in this era can do that. But you had guys in the 90s, your 6, 7, 8 guys off the bench, and even the role players can create plays and do a lot of things from a versatility standpoint than guys can do in this era. Now, let me get to my main argument. Just because Michael Jordan went 6-0 and no other team really won but him, doesn't that speak to his greatness? The teams were still great. He was just greater. And it talks and Lamont, it speaks to the point of just that's how much he showed his greatness, because he was so dominant on both ends of the court that he can overcome some of those teams. You don't feel like the 98 Utah Jazz had a better team? You don't think Seattle had a good fucking team, or Phoenix had a good team? Yeah, they did. But Jordan's greatness overcame all of that. If you look at the Bulls' full roster from top to bottom, Elder, some of those role guys were just that role guys.
Talking about
They were
Jordan.
they were top heavy. Hey, no, Elder, they were top heavy.
Mr. Mott, you're talking about Jordan though.
Hey, can I be devil's advocate though?
Yeah, his greatness.
Championships.
His greatness.
Oh, hold on, Mr. Moss. We're nobody's diminishing. I've already said it. We've already said Jordan's the GOAT. I've already spoken on his dominance. We're talking about the greatness of the '90s, and what you're doing is you're trying to make an excuse for everybody. One of the things you cannot.
Last point, Lamont.
Go ahead.
Last point. As dominant as, let's say, Tracy, some of these two guards, Durant, LeBron, in this era.
Look, let's start. I like from 2000. I'm really talking from.
No,
2000,
I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
So as dominant as some of these perimeter guys are in the league today, we can argue that the big guys in the '90s were more dominant at their position. Who's more dominant? David Robinson, Shaq, Hakeem, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley,
I ain't a debate though. We're talking about 2000.
Or LeBron James, Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis. I mean, what? I mean, Dwayne Wade. I mean, take the two guards.
That's really how you're arguing, bro.
What you say?
So, Mr. Moss, the easy way to answer that question is just to default to, again, who actually got the job done and won. So yeah, if the only way, since they will never play each other, the only way we could say who was had more dominance or greater, well, we saw D Wade lead a team by himself and win a championship.
He wasn't by himself. He wasn't by himself.
Hold on. He was only. Hold on.
We saw best player on that team.
He's the best player. We saw Dirk do it. All right. We saw Chauncey Billups and the Pistons do it with Ben Wallace, who's great in his own right.
Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton.
So what I'm saying is they were great players. So we saw,
of course,
we saw these teams overcome. We saw the big three get together. Elder said they were old, but again, if they're old, then they definitely overcame and they beat some good teams. We saw Tim Duncan overcome Kobe and Shaq and get to the championship and win. All right. So again, it comes down to a variety of teams. There's so much talent in the 2000s. That's why the Kobe's three-peat was more remarkable because he did it against more talent.
So you don't feel like the Phoenix Suns, Seattle, and Utah Jazz were elite teams when it comes to games?
Mr. Mott, I'll just answer this quickly because I'll just resort to what Jordan said. Jordan said his toughest competition ever in the playoffs was the Indiana Pacers.
They were tough too. They were tough.
Hey, hold on. So what does that say about all of those finals teams?
That they were
tough. Can I say something about two of them finals teams Jordan played with too? If we want to put it in context, the Phoenix Suns, Charles Barkley was hurt. He was dealing with injury.
What?
He was. Then he had like a. Then he had a sprained ankle or something. Or a hamstring. Charles Barkley.
Oh my God!
Wasn't he 100%? Was he not 100%?
Ain't nobody 100% at that time.
That was a big thing though. That was big. That was
nobody. Lamont.
James Worthy was hurt. James Worthy.
Hold on. Let's go one at a time.
Hold on. And then James Worthy sprained his ankle. He was giving the Bulls buckets, looking unstoppable, and he hurt his ankle. He was out. We gotta put things in context too.
Guess what then?
We gotta put things in context. That's two times.
Okay, so if that's the case, then and Lamont can contest this because he's been around NBA guys or what have you. Everybody's fucking hurt. So what?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just one.
Who cares?
No, I'm just saying though. But I'm just saying. I just want to mention that. That's all. I want to mention that.
Let me get the super chat. We got Sean Knox with the $5 super chat. He says there are 3 players averaging 30+ points per game in the league: Trey, Harden, and Beal. You can't tell me more than 2 people that averaged 30 in the 90s. And then he followed it up with another super chat. And he said, $5 super chat. He says the talent and competition is beyond elite right now. That's fact. That's fact.
Who is averaging 30 besides Michael Jordan in the 90s?
Wow. So guys are more isolated now.
And the person Sean they changed the rules to make it easier to score. But when it comes to competition,
you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
When it comes to talent, I give you that. But competition,
was that Shaq the Kid?
Due to the rule change.
Okay, go ahead, Cook Shaq. Go ahead, Cook Shaq. Hold on. What rule changes, Shaq the Kid? Why did the competition change because of rule changes? Break that down.
The competition didn't change.
No, hold on. That was Shaq the Kid talking, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I think it was me. But go ahead.
Go ahead. Whoever said that about the rule changes.
That was me. That was me.
No, he
So
said that.
No, that was Shaq, wasn't it?
no,
I think
I
both
said
of y'all
that.
was.
Hey,
Okay, go ahead.
I'll let
I'm
you
a
first.
I'm a '90s. I grew up in the
No,
'90s.
Shaq the Kid. Go
I'm a
ahead. Go
90s
ahead,
baby.
Shaq.
So, and I also grew up in the 2000s. The 2000s was the best. Arguably was the best era that I've seen. And then maybe you could say about the '90s, but that 2000 era, that joint was really good to watch because it did have some competition, obviously. In a way, the '90s it had some competition, but even though that '90s was dominated by the Bulls, but it was still a competition, man. We can't nitpick, even though we can as the fans, and this is the big show on us. But that 2000, I agree. It was arguably was the toughest. Arguably, you have Shaq, Kobe, AI, yeah, Ray Allen, aka Jesus Shuttlesworth, yeah, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. Man, the list go on. Baron Davis, the list go on and on. I love that 2000 era. It was great to watch. The 90s was great too, don't get me wrong, but that 2000 was better.
Because of Jordan and the Bulls.
You broke
Oh,
up,
hold
man.
on. What'd you say? Jordan and the Bulls?
A bunch of 90s players that couldn't get it done in the 90s because of Michael Jordan and the
Oh,
Bulls.
hold on. Remember what I told you before? Every
They
sentence that you're gonna
can't.
say is gonna end because of Jordan
Exactly.
and
You can't talk. You can't talk about Michael Jordan, man, about the '90s, man. Not like that's basically like that's they dads. Every player that's their dads basically is Michael Jordan.
hold on. We
That's
got a
basically
new
what y'all
guy.
saying.
We got a new guy in the chat, Michael. I think this is Michael Diaz. Hold on, we're gonna let Michael Diaz cook on this. I know he's been wanting to get in. Hey, what you got on this? Michael Diaz, what you got on this?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you. What's good?
you're
What's
now.
good?
Hey, first of all, let's say rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, the GOAT, the
Oh, yes,
midwife.
sir.
That's my go-to midwife.
Well, hey, we could barely hear you, Michael Diaz. Can you fix your mic or come close to your mic or something?
Yeah, I can come closer. Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's a little better. Go ahead.
Hey. I'm trying to fix that right now.
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put you in the backstage. Just get your mic fixed, or just get your mic taken care of, so we can let you cook on this for a little bit. Just clear that mic up. Yeah.
But yeah, they can't talk about the '90s about Michael Jordan, man. They can't do it, man. It's impossible.
That speaks to the weakness of the era. If you're saying that
They
one
can't.
person
Like
dominated
it was
the
a
era,
great era. It was a great era. It was a great era, but they can't do it. If I'm talking about my, can't do it. I can do it for the 2000s.
That's why it can't be the greatest era of all time. Like that's why I say when Mike retired, you know how sick people were when Mike left the game.
She's like, damn.
Yo, Lamont, you can hear me?
What up, Ant?
It's A2B.
What's good, Anthony?
Yeah. All right, yo, Lamont, yo, you bugging out, bro. Elder's still here? Elder's right. Like, come on, Jordan was so dominant. Like,
That's not the point, though. But that's not the
he made
point.
other
We not
niggas
the
look dumb. He made
no,
other dudes look dumb.
right, but that's not the point, though. The whole thing is this, though. They let Michael Jordan abuse them. Yo. Michael Jordan was a bully of the '90s. At the end of the day, he bullied them people, dog. He bullied. They was scared. Yo, you hear? Like, listen, it don't make. Why they have stories saying they were scared of Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
that's you a grown man. You a grown man. You a grown man. Hold on. Let's take you a grown man talking about you were scared of another man. That's disgusting.
Right, I'm
that's disgusting.
Right? And we played them in '98.
Plenty of boogers be scared. Plenty of boogers.
Yo, we played them in '98, right? Yo, you can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hear you.
Yeah. All right. The Pacers played the Bulls in '98. I remember Game 2 in Chicago. Chicago was shooting 25% at halftime, and the Pacers was shooting 40%. And guess who was ahead? The Bulls. They kept sending Jordan to the fucking line. I'm like, yo, we're not gonna beat this team. Then we came back, won the next two. Then Game 5. Yeah, that was Game 5 up in Chicago. We got an ass kick. Then Reggie hit that. He had pushed off on
Jordan.
Yeah. That was he had pushed off. He said they do that all the time. But I ain't gonna front. Game 7, everybody started laughing at me because Jordan shut him down in the fourth quarter. But the point I'm trying to get at, I don't know why Jordan keeps saying that was his toughest team he played. I think it was the Jazz. To me,
it's relative to the situation. I mean, Pippen. They're in a tail end of their careers of that dynasty. Jordan is 35, Pippen's 34, back injuries, stuff like that. It's when you look at everything. Yeah, I can see why.
Didn't the Pacers take them to 7 games?
Yeah, they took them to 7, but they wasn't
why they were the toughest. The Pacers took them to 7. They but
they wasn't gonna win that game, bro.
I know,
they wasn't gonna win that
game.
They jumped up like the Pacers had jumped up 17-6. They had jumped up early in the game. But they wasn't gonna win that game. They started calling them corny fouls.
They were scared. They were scared of Mike, man. They were terrified.
Here's the thing, Anthony. When you talk about the 90s, you find yourself always talking about Jordan.
It's because he was the best player.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if you're only talking about one team, one player, then how could that be the best era of basketball when only one team dominated? There was really no parity.
What you're saying. I know what you're saying.
So
but
when the one thing that made the 2000s great, because of the parity, it was competition. Teams was going head to head with each other. It was upsets. It wasn't just one man just running.
But look who the Lakers played in the finals, bro.
Come on, hold on, man. It might have been more entertaining for you. But the problem I had, it wasn't. I told you I didn't come in here to justify the 90s. What you said was the 90s was trash without Jordan.
It is. Hold on. It is. It was.
You bugged out with that one. I agree with you on that.
94.
Like Elder.
Like 94, 95, when Jordan was gone, the league was garbage. Nobody worried. It was boring.
Lamont, you was 4 years old. How the hell you know?
He said he was 4 years old. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. You were 4 years old, man. The toddler.
Wasn't even 4.
Elder,
Elder, that's funny.
Elder, was the league boring or not?
No, it wasn't boring.
I look at videos back then. That wasn't boring.
Hold on, 94, 95, the league was dead.
No, it wasn't, man. The Rays wasn't. It was a drop. It was a drop off of Rays, but it wasn't that bad, man. It wasn't that bad.
Because they knew it would be somebody new because he wasn't in the league.
Hey, remember when WGN stopped playing Bulls games? They were playing White Sox back.
Yeah, hold on. The Rays did drop, but don't mean it wasn't born. It wasn't born though.
People were excited because they knew they were going to finally see a new champ.
Yeah, you can't say that though, Lamar. I can't rock with you on that one.
That's not it.
The league was wide open then.
I can't rock with you on that, Lamar. You capped right there, man.
Lamont. You had them Orlando Magic. They was excited. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's a new slogan. You was forward.
And most people that knew and saw that Orlando Magic team in the Lakers 3P felt that the Orlando Magic team was better than that 3P Laker team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with you.
Who said, yo, come on, yo. See, come on, yo. That's wild, yo. That's wild.
Magic team wasn't no joke, bro.
I'm done, yo. All right, somebody, hold on, man.
Get out of here.
Channels got to get shut down, man.
Say that again.
Dude, Anthony Hardaway was on another level. Like, what
yo, you can't rock.
None of the Lakers team.
Nah, yo. Come on, yo.
Them bookers didn't even win. How they gonna be better than the team that won?
Yo, that's blasphemous, man.
You said
I got my vocabulary up. Y'all made me open my vocabulary up. That's blasphemous, man. That's utterly ridiculous, man.
Hold on.
You said Penny Hardaway is better than Kobe Bryant.
Hold on, we got.
I'm not saying that. But Hardaway was on that level, bro.
He wasn't on Kobe's level. No, he wasn't.
Hold on, we got Big Kev in the chat. He agrees with me. He said, Lamont, you're right. He said it was boring. He said they showed
boring.
He said they showed the OJ chase instead of the finals. That is true. They cut the
finals. Dang.
Woo.
That was OJ though. Hold up, Lamont. Before that's OJ though, Lamont. Lamont, that's OJ.
In the middle of a finals game.
It's OJ Simpson.
Or retired.
Yo, Lamont.
It's OJ. It's OJ though.
Retired.
OJ was OJ.
When they read that verdict, every single
Now,
station
let me ask. All right.
went to the verdict. Every single one. I mean, come on, man.
No,
That's not.
he's talking
It's
about
not
the car chase.
That's
He's talking about
OJ though. Listen, you got Lamont.
Yo,
Lamont
Lamont,
OJ was a big thing back in the day, man.
yeah.
OJ.
That old was huge.
I want to
I mean,
ask
it wasn't
Lamont a
AJ
question.
Finals.
Oh,
Man,
what's
this
up,
gonna
man?
shut it. All right. So, what team was better than the Bulls in the 2000s? I'm
Nobody.
Jordan Bulls.
Hold on. Jordan Bulls in the 2000s? We don't know.
No, I'll tell you what
Hold
team in the 2000s.
Anthony,
You crazy.
we don't know because they never played any of the 2000s.
Ah, come on. You're going to go there. Come on.
Hold on. How do we know? How do we know? We never
Of course,
saw,
they didn't play against each other.
we never
But
saw
what you,
Brian, Kobe, and Shaq go against Jordan.
I say this though, them 08 Celtics team were getting them run for their money though.
I'll tell you right
So
now,
I'm
they
gonna
wouldn't
say.
have got a three-peat off in the 2000s. They
nah,
wouldn't
I
have done
think they
that.
would. They probably would have had a four-peat. Like, come on. What are you talking
What?
about?
What? Hey yo,
Come
Andy,
on.
shut your channel
I
down.
got
Shut your
somebody
channel
channel
down.
down, right?
I would have
Come
loved
on.
for
Yo,
Michael
dog.
Jordan.
The
I would have loved
Lakers
Michael Jordan to
played.
go against Shaq in that 2000s, man. I'm so to this day I'm still
But they used to
upset
go
that
against.
that second three-peat for the
Right.
Bulls didn't continue.
But hold
Because
up,
that
though.
team never
Hold
lost.
on. Let
They still
Shaq
came
get
out.
cooked.
I'm still mad about
All
that
right,
shit.
yo,
I would love to see that Lakers team with Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, that would have been a good
Man,
match.
I wanted
Yo,
to
when
see
they
that
had.
Spurs team versus that Bulls team. That's what I wanted to see.
But they beat them. They
Yeah,
beat
hey,
Duncan.
that coaching matchup would have been crazy.
I want to see that.
versus Phil.
Tim,
Yo,
I ain't
but
gonna hold you. Dunk would have killed
let me
Robert at
ask.
that time. Robert get
Yo,
old.
but when Shaq was on with Nick Van Ness, I felt that was a better team. Like
It
No,
was.
the
wasn't,
team
man.
that went to the finals.
That was.
Not
And
a
the
better
Bulls
team.
used to kick their
I'm
ass
saying
in the
How,
regular season.
that
Like,
was.
what are you talking about?
You had.
how was
Yeah.
a better
Hold
team they
on.
didn't
Let's
win?
go. Oh, let's go one at a time so the chat.
No, they couldn't beat Utah. That was the
Anthony,
problem.
hold on one second,
Oh,
Anthony. Who
all
was
right.
saying something? Somebody else was saying something. I want to make sure you get your point in.
No, I was just agreeing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's it.
But I was saying it's that Shaq couldn't go out to pick and roll, and that's why they kept getting their ass kicked by Utah.
Hold on, Mike.
That was the only problem.
Hey, Michael, is your microphone working now?
Oh no, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, that's better. That's much
Yeah,
better.
much
Go ahead.
better.
Oh, that's what's up. I just want to say what's up. First of all, thank you for letting me in.
No problem. Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead, cook.
Hey, I've been watching since the beginning. I catched up on some of the stuff you guys was talking about. Like Tony Parker played like a superstar level. He's not a superstar. He played like a superstar level of disrespect is just out of this world, man.
Facts.
Tony Parker is a superstar.
Man, get out of here.
Facts.
Man, get out of here.
I ain't playing football. I'd rather have Tony Parker in that superstar level.
Come on, dog. He said Chris Paul.
Hold on. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Get out of here.
Hold on.
That nigga wilding.
I apologize.
Hold on. Go ahead, Mike.
Ain't no better than no Chris Paul.
Wait. Hold on, fam.
Let him finish. That's
does
my
have a case to be a superstar. He does have a good case of being a superstar player.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was
I'm
also a
not saying
finals
he was a
MVP in
superstar.
the 2007 finals. He does make a pretty good case of
I'm
being a
saying
superstar.
he played at a superstar level. I'm not saying he's a superstar. He played like a super. He like Lamont was saying earlier. He's not a superstar. He played like a superstar. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like right now, James Harden is like undeniably maybe one of the best superstars right now. But I won't like pick him over like some of these players. Like I'd rather have Luka, just because you can see that he could carry a team. Like, playoffs. Like I'd rather have Luka Doncic than James Harden.
Right.
It doesn't mean that Luka Doncic is better than James Harden wise, but he's he's playing at that level. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. Hey, that's a good point though. What you just said about James Harden.
Hey, but look. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
Like the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq would beat the heck out of the Bulls, man. With Jordan and Pippen, like you basically have a Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and who's guarding Shaq? Nobody's guarding Shaq. Who's gonna guard Shaq?
They don't need. Let me. If we're going to break it down like that, let me tell you what happened. Okay, the Bulls had to have it.
I'll tell you who to guard.
I'm gonna keep this real quick.
I'm gonna
keep this real quick. The Bulls had to have it.
And Dennis Rodman, he did
Yeah,
well.
but it didn't even need to get to that point.
In the late 90s.
If you watch Orlando, okay, they did what they did was they called sever the head. You put Pippen on the point guard, right? Well, in this case, it was Penny Hardaway, and it basically made it impossible. I mean, Shaq still did his thing, but he didn't go off like people would expect. Because hold on, I know you're talking about the Lakers. I know you're talking about the Lakers, but I'm saying there's a comparison here.
Oh man,
that you put Pippen on the point guard, which is what they did, right? And he harasses the point guard, and by the time he get the point guard finally, you can't even really run offense. It's one play, one shot, done. Now the point guard, whether it be it'd be better if it was Kobe because Kobe's going to go ahead and try to go 1 on 18.
But listen to this. You can't really compare the two because they were both great under Phil Jackson. So you can't have Phil Jackson in two places at the same time.
Exactly.
So it's an impossible scenario. Just an impossible scenario. So you're basically saying, how would Phil Jackson coach against Phil Jackson? We don't fucking know. It's a very silly question to say. That's why I say you don't want to jump into it because now you run into that problem. What do you do about the Phil Jackson issue? So what are you going to say?
Phil Jackson.
What are you gonna do? Just give him Dale Harris all of a sudden? Say,
give him Dale Harris.
Come on, man, stop it, man, stop it.
You gotta name another 2000 team.
No, this is why them arguments. If you want to really know who wins, go simulate it on 2K. That's what I always tell people because again, we don't know. That's why I say talk about the 2000s and the matchups that we actually saw. that's all. Because we saw the 90s and we saw that only Jordan dominated in the 90s.
No, he did, but
hey, let me put it different.
Lamont.
Yo, what up?
Lamont, I knew you was gonna bring that 2K shit up, man. Cause that's the only comparison you can do. Cause it's hard to compare. Cause different.
Let me put a different spin on it.
Embrace their bodies when they get to a certain age. So 2K is the only thing you can do.
If I could put a different spin, let me ask you a question, Lamont, and all you pro.
More than that, it's staying there impossible.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Lamont, and all you pro 2000 junkies. Let's just because one of the arguments I was going to present was the 2000s East was garbage it was terrible, right? I think the New Jersey Nets that went to the championship against the Lakers that had Jason Kidd, Kerry Kittles, Kenyon Martin. I don't remember who their center was, right? If you put Utah, the Malone, Stockton Jazz, you put the Rockets, you put a lot of them Western Conference teams, the Supersonics, all them teams would probably have 2 or 3 championships. Do you disagree or agree?
Well, I'll start with the Sonics. I don't think they will have any. Them motherfuckers got put out in the first round by the Denver Nuggets, so they don't stand a chance.
Blew a 3-1 lead. Disgusting.
So we're going to talk about.
They won't lead to a Nuggets team with the young Dick Henry Matumbo. That's a shame.
We're going to talk about the Utah team.
Hey, I want to say something. I want to say something else. Is that the worst? Well, not the worst. Is that one of the worst upsets till this day? That Nuggets beating that Suns team.
Yup, it was the 8th seed. They was the 8th seed.
Because the majority of people was not expecting that shit, unless you're a Nuggets fan.
That's the biggest upset probably ever, though. Honestly,
the reason, it ain't no surprise they never won the 90s.
It don't surprise me. That's what I'm saying. Why does it surprise you?
Well, that wasn't exactly the exact same team, though. So,
I mean, same team players, though.
Yeah, I mean, but I get it. It was a big upset, but I mean that Denver Nuggets team wasn't bad though. I mean, you had the Mutombo and Stith and Pack, and you had people sleep on a guy named Brian Williams. I hope one day we're able to talk about this because I personally feel like the Bulls' best team was a '97 team, not '96, because they had Brian Williams. But that's another conversation. Yeah,
but why y'all 90s? But why y'all 90s guys be trying to sweep that Sonic blowing 3-1 lead under the rug? Why y'all be sweeping that under the rug like that didn't happen?
No, nobody's sweeping under the rug. I mean, that happened.
Y'all do be sweeping under the rug. Y'all be talking about all the other 3-1 teams getting. Oh, y'all let these teams come back. Y'all be sweeping under the rug. I be noticing that, man.
Yeah,
Gary Payton,
Gary Payton, all that heart. all that stuff you can't measure.
All that trash talk. You blew a 3-1 lead. Talk all that trash. You know he was talking to Storm. That man was talking to Storm and got.
That's all that nigga do is talk, boy.
I'll talk filthy to him.
Man,
I was on that Nuggets team.
That Supersonic team underachieved, bro. They could have at least had a chance to win a championship.
No,
especially
listen,
when Jordan was in the
Shaq.
league. Man,
Right, but Shaq though, but they were scared. They were scared of.
I'm so shocked.
They was scared of Michael Jordan. They was scared of that man. They was. You got people call that man God. They were scared of Michael Jordan.
When I watched the Last Dance, and then you have players and coaches running around talking about we trying not to make Michael Jordan mad. He gonna
Fuck you mean? Fuck you mean? For real? Fuck you.
And that era is supposed to be the toughest era. You talking about?
Nah, that disgusting. I get mad. I get mad when they do that, yo. I get mad when they do that, yo.
Renegade here.
And hold up, Lamar, is it true that nigga used to walk in other people's locker room and tell them, like, I'm going to drop 50 on you tonight?
Yeah, he did that.
Way. It's no fucking way.
Man, I would have pushed him. I got to make sure it out.
I got Sly. Hold on, let's hear from Sly. I know Sly want to cook on this. I'm about to ask Sly in. Sly, what you got on that?
I don't know what it was, man. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, Michael Jordan, he feared people in the nice.
I don't know why. Nobody.
Hold on. Let's slide.
Let's slide talk.
All damn day.
Yeah, you breaking up, Sly.
Sly, your signal bad. Your signal bad, Sly.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Hold on. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
I've been listening to y'all niggas all day, and like, we've been having different conversations and blasphemy here and blasphemy there. But at the end of the day, like, it all comes back to what. Yeah, it all comes back to what you just said, Lamont. Like, yo, you can't talk about the 90s without talking about Jordan, man. You can't do it.
And it's just like man. The boogeyman.
Fuck out of here.
They call that was a book. I think that's one of his nicknames, the boogeyman, the Grim Reaper. That man. Shoot, you gotta be the GOAT when people are afraid of you. You gotta be the GOAT. You gotta be the GOAT when grown men afraid of you.
Nigga would call that nigga the boogeyman, boy. Fuck out of here.
That man messed Muggsy Bogues' career up, man. He called Jordan. Yo, you know that story, right? Where Jordan called.
Nigga told the shooter, you short motherfucker.
Ruined that man's career. Listen, that man was a right. He the GOAT. That's why he the GOAT, though. But people was afraid of that man.
He told the shooter.
But hey yo, Lamont, the elder ever finished his list, the top 30 niggas from the 90s?
Nah, he never finished it.
Nah, I was curious to hear.
This is what I'm talking. Yeah, I was curious to hear that too, because I'm just saying, in the 2000s, you damn near got a top 5 in every fucking position. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, not center and point guard, but like shooting guards. You got shooting guards. You had Kobe. You had AI. You had fucking
D Wade.
You had Kobe. You had AI. You had D Wade. You had
T-Mac too.
You had LeBron. Hold on. I mean, you had Shaq. You had Shaq at center.
You had Shaq. Small forwards. You had T-Mac. You had LeBron. You had Paul Pierce. You had LeBron. You had T-Mac. You had Paul Pierce. You had, you know what I'm saying? Like, great talent.
Paul Pierce better than the majority of the small forwards in the 90s too. He better than every small forward besides Scottie Pippen.
And you had, even though he was on his last leg, you had Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller's a 90s player. But,
he was balling, though. He was balling. He was balling in 2000.
He was still balling.
He almost had that game-winning layup.
Went to the finals in the 2000s.
Yeah, he was balling. He still was elite. I mean, he could play impact.
But word. And my thing is, like, people like to discredit Steve Nash and all this and shit like that. Like, look, regardless whether you feel he deserved them MVPs or not, he won them. And what you can say about Steve Nash is, this man made Amari Stoudemire look like a max contract player. Let's keep that all the way real. Like the reason Amari Stoudemire got his contract in New York is because he played with Steve Nash, and Steve Nash made him look like something. Because you see what happens when he left.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
So
injury. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's definitely true. I understand what you're saying with that one.
I mean, but Amari Stoudemire was still a really good player. Let's not get that messed up.
Nah, but he helped. But Steve Nash,
but Steve Nash, he made him what he was for sure.
He made him. Same way Chris Paul made Blake Griffin look so damn good.
Nah, I'm not New York. He had like 25
for DeAndre Jordan. I meant DeAndre Jordan.
So I understand what you're saying though, Sly, but he still was good on the Knicks though. That one year, he had like 25.
Ain't nobody. Nobody even mentioned.
I'll give you that though.
And Vince Carter. And yo, I'm gonna keep saying this. Till I'm blue in the face. Yo, can y'all people stop saying who did Shaq face in those freaking finals, man? Can y'all stop doing that? Because in the 90s, you've never, in Shaq's whole career, you've never seen Shaq get placed one-on-one. Even in the 90s with those Hall of Fame setters. None of them niggas knew better not to stick Shaq by themselves. You never see Shaq not have two niggas on him, at least minimum. You've never seen that. You've never seen that, dog. That's a myth. That's sticking Shaq one-on-one is a myth. It's a legend. It's you know what I mean? It's folklore. You know what I'm saying? Like, word, you're not seeing that shit.
Phoenix Sunset.
Well, you got people who run around and say Dennis Rodman could stop Shaq.
He can slow him down, but he can't stop him. You can slow him down, but you can't stop him.
You can't stop. You can't stop great players.
That's not the real funny.
I know. I'll tell you who Dennis Rodman used to give problems.
You are a fraud.
Dennis Rodman used to give Karl Malone problems. I think Karl Malone had nightmares of Dennis Rodman. That's who he used to give problems to. Dennis Rodman used to give Karl Malone problems. And then when dude was saying it was all these players we talk about in the 2000s, their career started in the 90s. It's just like, okay, Jordan played 6 years in the 80s. And what to do with you know what I mean? Jordan played 6 years in the 80s. Like, what are we talking about? Hakeem Olajuwon played in the 80s. Hakeem Olajuwon played in the 80s. Charles Barkley played in the 80s. Scottie Pippen played 3 years in the 80s? Like,
yup, Cook, Sly.
Dennis Rodman won 2 rings in the 80s.
Cook your food.
Of his rings in the 80s.
Cook your
one
food.
of his rings in the 80s, one of his rings. But yeah, we could keep cooking.
Word, man. And Kenneth,
No, go ahead, man.
I was mean saying Kenneth was talking slick about Larry Bird too, talking about that man was old, talking about Isaiah Thomas, man. I mean him is talking about that, man. I'm gonna give him another day.
I mean, the Pistons really should have won. The Pistons really should have won in '88, but that's up for discussion. That's up for another discussion.
But at the end of the day, you can't talk about the 90s without talking about Michael Jordan. That's basically the point.
It's impossible.
You can't do it. Like they was scared of that man. They was even what KG and what's the dude name? KG, the dude with the Timberwolves, the guard.
True. I agree. They people did fear Michael Jordan. I do.
No, who was a go? Who was a guard?
Teammates.
Sam Cassell?
Teammates feared him.
No, who was a guard? No, in the 90s.
He was a psychopath.
What's the dude name? Yo, who was the guard in the 90s of KG? No, I'm talking about the 90s. I'm talking when KG first got in the league.
Oh, I don't know.
You said the guard trail?
Yeah, the guard. No, but they told it. KG told a story about how KG was talking trash to Michael Jordan, and the dude was like, he just kidding, Mike. Who was that? What's his name?
I forgot that nigga name, but I seen that nigga tell that story. That shit was funny as hell.
Hold on, I'm not looking.
Somebody said
Isaiah Ryder. Yup. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Even it was afraid of Isaiah. That's how crazy that's that. Like Isaiah Ryder talking about Mike. He just kidding, Mike.
Hold up, True. Hey, True. Hey, True. Look, hold up, True. Hey, that nigga Mike told him, "Are we talking? Are we talking?" that nigga said, "Hold up, Mike. What you looking at me?"
Hey, yo, I'll look. Y'all floor play with Michael Jordan, man. Michael Jordan,
And then
yo,
another thing. And then another thing. And then another
that sound
thing.
weak to
And
me.
then another thing. Lamont said take away Jordan. Their counter was take away the Lakers. So you
Yeah,
got
they
to take
could
away a
answer.
whole team. You
You
got to
could
take away a
answer.
whole team
Take away a whole
out the
team. Take away one
2000s
player.
They couldn't answer it. They couldn't
compared
answer
to
it,
taking away
Slide.
one player.
They couldn't answer it, Slide. That's why.
That's
And,
why.
and this is what I'm saying. Like the thing about the 2000s is, like you had parity. You know what I'm saying? You had parity, and even though people like to down the Spurs, and then another thing, like y'all niggas saying Tony Parker wasn't a superstar. That 07 run, Tony Parker. The 07 to 08, Tony Parker was the second runner up to LeBron James and winning the MVP.
Yeah,
And
he
for real,
was.
he should have got it. He should have got it. Like he really should have got it. That nigga is a fucking superstar. That nigga is a fucking superstar. It's just he's an international player.
One of the greatest European players of all time, man. Top 10. I mean,
You put
top five, top 10.
You go down your list of the top. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki is the greatest international player of all time. Well, European.
Yeah,
But then
Dirk should have two. Dirk should have 2 rings.
Nah, because I can't take nothing away from D Wade. Like he snapped in those finals.
The ref snapped.
And he won. But still, D Wade had. But still, D Wade, even though it wasn't the same Shaq, Shaq was still. I mean, he wasn't putting up those dominant numbers, but he was still a presence down there. He was still commanding a double team down there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when was the last time you ain't seen anybody get that many free throws in the game? Man,
He hit him though. He hit him though. Yeah, James Harden. Yeah.
He hit it. I'm saying he hit him and everything, but I'm saying.
I don't know. He hit
because you had to. Because you had to foul him. Shaq impacted the game so much that Shaq impacted the game so much that coaches made a play. Coaches made a play in his honor called Hacker Shaq.
I'll be right back. My phone about to die. I might be back, y'all.
All right, Shaq. But yeah, man, they were scared of Jordan, man. That's crazy. Like they was like, even Shaq, like,
weak to me.
Like Shaq was a dominant force, but we've seen like great players in this league, like dominant, freakish players, right? In this league, right? That dominated, that gonna give you the business. Hey, when you have somebody on that calendar, like, oh man, you gotta lace your boots. But how they be talking about Michael Jordan is insane. Like I don't understand he's a GOAT, but having the fear of that's, I don't know, man. That just proves that the 2000s era is better than the 90s era.
You're not about to tell me not to talk to no nigga, dog.
Come on.
That's why I respect Gary Payton. That's why I respect Gary Payton. He gonna talk. These I respect. This is Gary Payton cares. He ain't care, but listen, man, I don't care who you is.
They trying to
he lost though
because you said MJ not the
He
GOAT.
made niggas want to fight him.
Reggie Miller was pissing them off. I respect Reggie Miller. It was some player didn't back down Michael Jordan though, but you have they were scared of that man.
As you shouldn't. Fuck you begging
They were so scared of that man. They had to hit. They had to start punching that man in the air, man. The Pistons had to start hitting that man. That's how scared of him. They had to fight that man.
Hold on. We got Jason Brown in here. Wait, what you got on this? I know you just getting in the chat. What you got on the topic for the day?
Man, I feel like them 90s dudes be capping. Jordan the GOAT, but the 2000s, the early 2000s is the greatest era of basketball, like hands down. Defensively, offensively, you had guys averaging 30. You had guys like T-Mac average 30, and Kobe they averaged 30 in the same season, bro. Like you had teams like when Detroit played, I believe the Pistons in 04, it was like I think it was like 6. They was in the mid 60s, this final score. So it's like hands down, the early 2000s is the best era, offensively and defensively. They just want to cap for Jordan, but they need to stop, bro. Like the early 2000s, the best era. Like you had, like you said earlier, you had Gilbert Arenas, Brandon Roy. You had even guys like Michael Redd.
Mm.
It was a whole bunch of
And
guys.
KD was in 2002. He was in
Yeah,
that
but
era.
I can't really count KD because he only played for like 2-3 years. I mean, he didn't really hit his prime till like 2012.
I feel you, but he still was a problem though. KD was still like a.
But what I'm saying is,
play 4 or 5
it's so
years.
deep. The 2000s has been the deepest. Like since 2000 going on, it's just been extremely deep. Like it's been so much depth and talent. So many superstars being bred. So many Hall of Famers. It's crazy. And if you try to compare that, like people say the 90s is the greatest era, but that you only say that based off one man. How can the 90s be the greatest era? Because you fell in love with one player. There's no, and you say level of competition. I can't see how 90s people even say anything about competition being unbalanced when Elder just came in here and talked about how the Bulls were, how they were put together were just the most dominant team of the 90s and they couldn't be beat. So how was that? How do you like seeing competition if you like the Bulls in the 90s?
Exactly.
Honestly, I think
that's why a lot of people hate Michael Jordan too, though, because of the dominance.
I mean, even young KD took a couple games off of that championship Lakers team, so you can count that too.
KD was averaging 25. KD was averaging 20 his first year and 25 the second year, like 09 or something like that.
Yeah, they won six games for the 2010 Lakers, bro, in the first round.
True.
Yo.
I was arguing a dude last night, dog. The nigga said KD couldn't play in the 90s, bro.
Hey, KD
Yeah, they don't. Hey, first of all, you can't guard any great player, any great player. First of all, the team had to change the whole defensive schemes up just because of KD. So I don't know what people even talking about with that. They would do Jordan. I guarantee you this: if KD would play the same time Michael Jordan, they'd do the same shit to him.
Boy,
they'd have been they'd been the Jordan and KD rules. Listen, hit these motherfuckers and they get hey, hit these dudes. They ain't chance you get fouled.
KD didn't have to go in the paint to get his point, nigga. He could shoot.
Right. But I'm just saying though, you know how I mean, that's the thing though too though. Like the 3-point line, a lot of them like you gotta put in the context too about the older eras. They didn't have to guard the 3-point line how they do now. You can sag off a little bit in the 3-point line. It was only like a few, like it wasn't the same. And then it's like even you could shoot, you're not pulling for 35. You're not pulling that deep of a shot. You're not even gonna be prepared for that. So it's like, you know what I mean? Right.
Well, you got to think about it like this. I'm gonna give you an example. Like off the high pick and roll with John Stockton and Karl Malone. Like they could go under every single time on that pick and roll because they know John Stockton's not going to pull up at the top of the key.
They had to change the whole game. They have to
like now you got almost every guard in the league is going to be able to make that top of the key 3 with no problem if you continuously go under.
And sometimes they did that. And sometimes that's why that pick and roll was good for Utah. That's why they were so good because it was like they had a unique. That's one thing about the 90s was I can say about now they influenced a lot of things you see now in the league, and this team just did it better.
Well, the Bulls influenced the one thing that they hate. That's small ball.
Right.
See, y'all got to think the Bulls' best lineup was when they took the bigs off the court.
Right.
They had Dennis Rodman at center, and they were Tony Kukoc at power forward, Pippen at small forward, Ron Harper and Jordan. That they were the first small ball team, and it dominated the 90s.
Right.
So I think 90s people hate to admit that a small ball team dominated the 90s.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't like small ball necessarily. Like, I don't understand that because James Worthy, even like in the 80s, and James Worthy, it was small. Like James Worthy was a small ball player.
Hold on, we got somebody new in the chat. I haven't seen him in here before. Precise.
James Worthy was a small ball player.
Hold on, we're gonna let him cook on this. What you got on the topic we talking about?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. What's good?
Yeah, my question was like, okay, Kobe was guarded by like Bruce Bowen, Ron Artest, Tony Allen, Tayshaun Prince, and Rajah Bell. So besides Gary Payton in the 90s, who was a good defender that went against Jordan? Because it seemed like they was like bad defenders. You know,
They were.
Come on.
I mean, you could say Sidney Moncrief, but he was in the 80s. That was like
It's only legit like a couple defenders. It's only legit like a couple defenders.
They got Dennis Rodman before.
Yeah, because I know about Gary Payton. And I
They
know
got
about
Dennis Rodman before that.
Hold
I
on.
think
And Gary Payton didn't do nothing. You could probably say the second best defender on Mike was Dan Marley, maybe, and he
I
wasn't
mean,
doing
what
nothing.
about
I mean,
Dumars?
you could say you
What
could
type
argue
of
that Joe Dumars is up there too. Joe
Byron
Dumars
Russell,
is up there.
Byron Russell.
George, I mean,
Nah, I think you could
Dumars,
say Joe Dumars is probably the best
Dumars.
defender on Jordan, like in
could
this.
a
Joe
6'4"
Dumars.
point guard win defensive player of the year today?
He was
nope.
6'4". He was 6'4". Yeah, we got to be in context. 6'4".
Could a
I mean,
6'4" point guard win defensive player of the year today?
Yeah, they could.
Today,
They could.
I
They
mean,
today,
could.
depend. I
They
mean,
could.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
They
I mean,
could, though. It depends.
I
They
mean,
could.
Tony Allen never won it. I mean, he was the best
Nah, they
perimeter
could, though.
defender in the game. So I mean,
Today?
it's hard to see
They,
that in today's game.
I think you can though, because like mind you,
The
like
point guard,
nowadays, this
the
era you got
point
to
guard,
guard multiple, but you got to guard multiple positions. You switching a lot, so your impact you
6'4".
can
I mean, yeah, they could.
you can
I think it's gonna always be a center or a small forward or somebody like that to win that shit, bro.
If you're a perimeter
I,
player, if it's possible you can still get that though. It's
Man,
possible. It's hard.
wing
It's
players do
hard.
Rudy Gobert. Yeah, it's harder when you're a wing
It's
player, bro.
hard
But
for a
look,
guard point
wing.
guard to do it,
Like
but I
you
think
gotta
you can. I think you
ones and
can do
twos
it.
not
look
gonna
who you
win.
gotta
It's really
guard.
threes and fives. Look,
I can see like I make it see like a Marcus Smart may win defensive player of the year. It'd be a long shot, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Hold on, but you have
I
a
wouldn't be
better
surprised.
in this era. I think it's not going to be. See, the award in the '90s, the Defensive Player of the Year award in the '90s was biased towards centers.
He not 6'4"
Right.
though, huh?
And on top
Marcus
of the
Smart
fact,
6'4".
yeah,
on top of the fact that the
6'4".
rules were catered towards centers in the '90s because there was no defensive 3 seconds. They could stand under the rim all day and get blocks. This is why you saw guys like Elijah one damn near average 4 blocks a game.
Yeah, Alonzo Mourning.
Because they didn't have to go nowhere. They didn't. They
they
could
could
just
paint all
stand
day.
there. And on top of the fact that the centers that they were guarding didn't shoot threes, so you didn't have to worry about him going out to the 3-point line to stretch you out. He would be right there behind you.
Hey,
For
and y'all was
example,
and y'all was
a guy like Tim Duncan, like
MJ kicked
he
out
was a
to
great
Steve
defender,
Kerr
but like he couldn't
inside the arc.
guard the perimeter.
But Duncan, the thing about Duncan is he would fit more in this era now. I mean, because he would play center.
Not
Duncan would play
defensively.
center. What you mean? Duncan would play center in this era.
He's saying like he wouldn't have been as valuable as today because he can't really guard the perimeter.
That's not true. Because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Tim
Duncan,
Duncan
all
was
you
a
had to
great
do.
defender
Oh,
in
I'm
the
gonna tell you.
paint.
I'm gonna tell you why. All you had to do was put Duncan at center. That's all you have to do.
But
That's all you really have to do.
But that
Duncan can
that's
play.
the,
That's
the
why.
best
That's the other reason why Duncan the best power forward of all time. Because he can legit play center.
They actually had him listed as center a few times, a few seasons.
Half his career. Matter of fact, in Basketball Reference.
Tim Duncan
he didn't like
defense
it.
is overrated, man. Like,
I wouldn't say that.
We're not doing that. We're not doing. You second all time in defensive win shares. You're not over. You're not
because he played
overrated.
20 years. That's why he's second.
That's impressive. That's
defensive
impressive. That's
win
impressive.
shares.
Defensive
He
win
was-
shares is an
he wasn't
important
better.
stat.
He wasn't better defensively than Kevin
Do you know
Garnett.
what defensive win shares is? Defensive win
Stop it,
shares. That's an important
Stop
stat.
it, man.
His defense on the court was that great.
In the paint.
He was great defensively. Period. He was an anchor on
In
that
the paint.
defense.
In the paint. He had
Ain't
Bruce
that-
Bowen. He played with Bruce Bowen and Kawhi Leonard.
No, he made okay. So when they get beat, okay. So when they got hold on. When they got you said hold on. Whoa. You said Tony Parker, not no slouch. That man said Tony Parker, not no slouch. You gotta shut your channel down. No, Tony Parker not known for defense like that.
Hold on, we got
Bruh.
Bees coming in. We got Bees
I
coming
never
in.
said he was known for defense.
Oh, I want to let Bees cook on this real quick because he's gonna have something interesting to say.
Yeah, Bees a wild card, man. Shout out to Bees, man.
Hey,
Bees a wild card.
What's good, Bees? What you got
What
on
up,
this
Bees?
topic?
Hey, I agree with you guys. I think 2000s was the most impressive era that I seen. I do think from an athletic standpoint, they were better. Skills kind of dropped off a little bit, but that was the transition into the more athletic player with skills. There was a small transition in the early 2000s, but I agree with you. I think the reason why people hold on to their era is that they reminisce about their time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you got Michael Jordan the GOAT, you gonna make everybody else like Godzilla, right? I mean, and Kobe fans do it. Bron fans is doing it today. It's just that's how people are. That's what I got on it.
They be like, Dennis, stop.
And we got some election updates. I'm gonna give y'all the updates. It's got Biden. He's pretty big lead over Trump right now. So if it continues to go this way, it looks like we're gonna have a new president. But you never
That's
know.
no surprise,
I don't
though.
give
That's
a
no
fuck.
surprise. Nobody cares. I'm not even surprised.
I don't give a fuck who the president is.
I'm just telling y'all the updates. Gee.
I don't give a fuck about no president.
Damn.
Fuck them niggas.
Hey, LeBron doing his job, though, man. He been doing his
It's also
Fuck.
That'd be
It's a
crazy.
sports topic. Fuck them.
Oh, man.
Hey, because if Biden go to your restaurant to celebrate, you ain't gonna be saying that.
I would pick the best steak
World War
See what I'm saying?
for that motherfucker.
It's all stupid, man. It's all
The best steak
stupid,
in the
man.
world for that motherfucker.
That boy gonna put a
hey, antisocial.
that nigga gonna be look like what's that Food Network show, American Next Top Chef, and there he gonna be like,
Bro.
Hey, antisocial.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, I heard you the other night on Tickets channel, not to bring up Tickets channel. Hey man, but I heard them dudes saying they know for a fact on the channel that Bron was on PD. And I was
you can't prove
they
that.
don't know that
I
shit.
don't-
I told you they couldn't
Hey,
prove that
hold
shit.
on, hold on. I'm one of them people.
I was like, these dumb motherfuckers is on a public forum saying they got evidence for somebody on PD.
You gotta shut your channel. You gotta shut your channel. They gotta shut their channel. They gotta shut their channel down, man.
Fuck out there for that.
These, you should. They gotta shut their channel down, man. They got no credibility. Listen, everybody know how I feel about that. About the PDs, whatever. Everybody know how I feel about that. My stance is this: it ain't proven, so he ain't doing it. It is what it is.
I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie. I was saying, nigga, he got 3 more years to play like he been playing, nigga. After that nigga hit that 20 years, that nigga still averaging 25. That nigga owes something.
Hold up, but and my also stance is this: I don't care if he is on there or not. Still don't care. He's still my ranking. He's still ranking on my list. I don't give. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you right.
Hey,
you still got to go out there and perform, bro.
I just
Right.
just
Go out there and
believe that
perform.
you get people would make statements that they know for sure somebody did something.
That's when you know you're a hater, though.
Ability in that,
Man, hey, over
You
there,
know
dog,
you're a hater.
they
You
hate
was a
that-
hater, man.
They hate that man with a passion over there, dog.
Hold on, no. Here's the thing. Here's the problem, y'all.
Gotta prove it.
When you hear somebody hawking you down, they might not hawk you down, but you can hear them footsteps. You start to panic. Like if anybody in here who's ran track and you know that pressure, that feeling when somebody hawking you down, it's uncomfortable. It was some dude who would always be hawking me down in the 800. That's what I ran in track, and for whatever reason, I didn't even like him off the track. I didn't like this dude. I hated him. I don't even know his name. I don't even know why I didn't like him. He just will always be hawking me down. Sometimes he beat me. It was few times he did, but most of the time I would be him. But I just didn't like him just because he was always on my ass whenever we was running the 800. So I understand what they're going through. He getting hogged down, and they just mad about it. It just come with it. That's what happens when you're getting hogged down. So I understand.
Dog, it comes to a place where, bro, you can understand that this man is great and still not hate this man. You ain't got to put him above Jordan, but still recognize he's a great, bro.
Right,
They can't even do that. They can't even do that, bro. Like, hold up,
deep, man. It's basketball, man.
The craziest thing I heard over there, dog. You remember when LeBron James had that N-word plastered on his house, right? Somebody spray painted on his house in LA, right?
Yeah.
They tried to flip the narrative that, bro, he paid somebody to do that for a hook. I was like, why would he do that?
My thing is you gotta have proof. Like, you gotta say, but you can say, but like you can't just say that. Like you can assume. Let's hold up. I don't have a problem. You can assume whatever, but you can't just say he did that. You can't just sit there as like he did that. Like that's just like, come on, man. You have no credibility.
I'm like, dude, are y'all serious, dog? I'm like, what would be the reason of him doing that? Oh, because he LeBron James, he do stuff like that. I'm like, you know what, y'all can have it, bro.
Oh, hold on, but ain't that the same? But then that's the same people who said, he only has a wife and kids because he want people to think he did the
Oh my
family
God,
thing better than Michael Jordan.
that's crazy, bro.
Shut up and dribble, man.
I said
Shut
the
up and
man.
dribble.
I said you saying the man only has a wife and kids just so he can say that he did that better than Jordan. I said, man. I said y'all got some problems over there. I said, man, that's
That's a hate.
It's crazy.
They let
Yeah,
them.
man.
Hey, that's what they. Hey, man, that's hate, man.
That's hate. That's all it is.
I'm like, it makes no sense how much hate y'all got in your heart for this man, but then y'all be up there talking about uplifting black man. Man, shut y'all dumb ass up. They don't even go
Shut
together.
your tail, yo. Shut your tail
Yeah,
down.
they
Shut
don't
your
even go
tail
together.
down,
You
man.
kill a black man on this motherfucker every night, but y'all talking about uplifting black
And
people.
it's
Shut
just
your ass
basketball. It's
up.
just basketball. I'm not. You can criticize LeBron. It's just basketball, man. It ain't that deep. Y'all really hate. Y'all really just have a strong.
Them
I don't like
niggas go
LeBron. I
deep.
don't like
Them niggas
LeBron.
go deep.
I don't like LeBron, but at the same time, y'all, I'm
Them
not gonna go
niggas
that
go
hard.
See,
Like
like,
deep.
listen,
y'all
True, I
good.
got a
this is what I'm
question for
saying
you.
though.
hold on.
They go deep.
They stay criticizing LeBron off all the court antics and shit. Y'all don't be talking about how Jordan invested in prisons and shit like that, but
Nah,
y'all
that's
still wear,
false,
but
bro.
niggas still wearing
That's
sneaks.
That's
a
false.
different Michael Jordan
Like,
slide. That's
That's
different
not
Michael Jordan. But
that's
I
not
get your
him.
point. I get your
That
point
was
though,
just
They don't.
slide.
working.
Hey,
I
Slide.
get
They
your
don't want
point
to
though,
have that
slide.
conversation, bro. They don't want to have that
That's a
conversation,
different
this
Michael
Slide,
Jordan
bro.
slide. But I get your point. I get your point
They don't
though.
want. They
You
don't want to
wait.
have that conversation, Slide, bro.
is what I'm saying.
Eric
But I
Michael
don't.
Yeah,
But
Dyson was
even
on.
still, I don't hold. Yeah,
Right.
but I don't
Eric.
not
Hey,
do.
hold
I
up.
don't.
Eric Michael Dyson was on Shannon Sharp podcast, that Club Shay Shay. That man said, he was like, in my eyes, when it comes, he like, I'm a Kobe fan. But he was like, when it comes to LeBron James, that nigga say he's the GOAT, he's the stallion, he's the whole stable. That nigga said he's the whole stable because he said, I just don't judge him off of his game. He was like, bro, what that man has been doing for the black community as far as social injustice, he was like, it outweighs everybody, whoever did it besides Muhammad Ali. And I agree with that man. That's why I keep telling people, I'm like, it's more than on the court with me, dog. I like what that man do outside his community.
Nah, it was way more people than Muhammad Ali
But you got a
doing it.
lot of people on other platforms talking about, oh, he only do that for clout. Nigga, what?
Man, get out of here with that. They just hate on. I just hate.
no, it actually cost him a lot of money.
Cause I'm like, bro, you could. I was like, so let me ask y'all something. I was like, if LeBron James was like Mike and never spoke on this shit at all, what would y'all say then? Y'all would be like, oh, he need to speak up. So
Talking
damn if he
shit.
do,
Then,
damn if he don't.
then Michael Jordan told Horace Grant, "Hey, yo, you can't eat." They were playing. He told
Got
that
me
man,
fucked
"Hey,
up,
yo,
boy.
Hey,
you
but you
can't
know what?
eat."
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you this antisocial. This is another reason, and I'm not saying all '90s fans, but some '90s fans. This is why they always fall in line with that narrative of
Jordan.
just wanting to love everything about the '90s. One of the things that they love about the '90s is one of the things that actually holds people back. That means not having, player freedom, understanding your money. Like they always talk about, oh, they didn't team up, they didn't do this, that, and the other. But you got to understand all of the other stuff that come behind it. These players are controlling their own destiny. They're controlling the marketing around them. They're controlling their money. They're forcing these team owners to actually ante up and actually pay players. They didn't have to do that in the '90s because the players sat around and were quiet most of the time. They didn't force nobody's hand. So, I mean, I think a lot of it just stems from they don't like how the players of this era got so much control over
Who cares though? Just stop
Hey, no,
watching the
you
game.
know
over
why
what
they
they can do on the
care?
court, and that's
Just
You know
sad.
stop
why they do?
and
You know
just
why
stop
they
watching
care
the
too?
game.
You know why they care? They
What's
care
that?
because they care because they didn't take control of their own situation, dog.
Right.
That's
So
why.
so to say that what LeBron is doing is actually condemning themselves in the decisions they made.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right. But my thing,
they gonna
yeah.
hold that slave mentality close.
Right. And my thing is this though, like y'all got so much problem you're criticizing what's going on in the league. I understand everything not perfect. I'm not saying you can't, but stop watching the game. Then I'm talking about people was cheating and they cheating their way to win. That don't make any damn. Stop watching the game then. Watch golf or something.
They
Watch some
can't.
tennis.
Because
Watch tennis or something, man.
No, ain't
they
nobody
can't do
watching no
that because
damn tennis.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm
then
being
they
real though.
couldn't.
Like, why you watching the? That's like is annoying. I'm sitting here. Listen, basketball is basketball, man. Listen, we watch basketball. Listen, I don't care. You put me in a time machine. I'm still watching the game. I'm still gonna appreciate the game regardless.
It's because
Everything ain't gonna be perfect, but guess what? If you got a problem with it, stop watching.
They can't, cause
Simple as that.
what they do is called, it's called hate watching. They can't hate watch you know what I'm saying, if they don't watch it like that, and they can't
Hey,
watch it
yo,
without
that's a new
thinking about
one.
the 90s. You know what I'm
Oh, that's a
saying?
new one. That's a good
Nah,
one. We
it
gotta
ain't.
put
That's
that
a
on the
new. He
t-shirt.
got hate. Hey, yo,
It ain't.
Renegade got the new. Got
He
the
said
hate
it's called hate
watching.
watching.
That's
He
so
said it's
crazy.
called hate watching.
I swear,
Whoa.
boy,
That's
they be
crazy.
waiting on some shit that they be waiting on that man to do something wrong so they can talk about it,
Man, they
dog.
wait. It don't matter who. But it's like they be hating on a lot of people though. It's about this era. They hate on this era. Period. Oh, they be waiting somebody mess up. They be waiting.
You
Oh,
cracking
that
me
wouldn't
up.
happen in the '90s. That wouldn't happen in the '90s, man. Listen, man.
Not
Like, come
Dominique
on,
Wilkins. He
man.
would have jumped over him.
I bet.
Bro, Dominic
I bet.
Wilkins.
Dominique, an '80s player though. Like,
That's what
No,
I'm
I'm
He
just
wouldn't
saying.
pass
saying,
the
like,
ball. Mike wouldn't pass the ball. He got that kill in him. He wouldn't nigga. He passed the ball to Steve Kerr. Stop lying, bitch.
Like they
No,
got they
And he
the
passed the
people
ball
that
to
they
Pat.
cap
he
for.
tried to
yeah,
pass the ball when they played Orlando. That thing went
right.
selling out of bounds.
Jordan never called himself the GOAT. Jordan never
The,
called himself the GOAT. He lying like a mother.
the
Man,
people that they
lying.
That's
cap
a
for the
lie.
90s
Nigga did.
came
Him and
from
Will
the
Chamberlain was
80s.
up there arguing about it, nigga.
He only with the
Hold
old
on, hold
head.
on. But anti. The craziest thing I heard was when you was talking to him and you asked him. Again, this is just about being honest, and this is how you can test if they just capping about everything they say. And you said, "Is Jordan a better shooter than Steph Curry?" And they had the nerve to say yes.
Yo, I would have left.
I
I'd have
almost left
left.
the chat.
Look,
I
I'd
almost
have
left the
left.
chat, bro.
I'd have left,
MJ,
I
yo.
swear to
I
God,
can't
I
argue
almost
with that.
left the chat,
I couldn't
dog. I'm
argue
like,
with that.
look,
I'm like, dude,
look,
you
you
know the
niggas in here are so
MJ,
sold on Jordan. It makes no sense, bro. I'm like,
look,
he is not a
MJ,
better shooter of the basketball than Steph
Man, that
Curry,
shit
Kevin
is comedy,
Durant.
man.
And then hold on. Hey, look at that. Hold on. Let me say this. Hey, I was cooking their ass over there, true, with this shit.
Hey, hold
About
on.
these 3-point shots, bro.
Antisocial. Yesterday, I'm talking about. If y'all haven't heard it, he went over there. He went on for about 20 minutes straight, just cooking them. They couldn't say nothing but just get mad and start trying to cuss them out.
They
It was
block you?
fun.
Man,
It was
I
fun.
ain't black.
it's a comedy show over there. That
Hey, he
shit
blocked
comedy,
you,
man.
didn't he, Lamar?
why?
Nah, he ain't block me
He,
because when I
he
come
blocked.
over there,
I got blocked. I'm blocked.
I'm just cool with people, dog.
No,
I just
no,
don't.
no, dog.
There's certain people.
I've been counting the days down till Lamont was blocked. I was predicting it.
Oh,
No,
you
check
thought
this
I
out,
was?
Lamont.
You thought I was gonna
You
be
know why
next? Hey,
he
I
blocked
might
you,
be.
Lamont? You know why I
Yo,
knew it before
Anton,
you
somebody
blocked
said that
him.
in some of the comments too, Anton. You
What
go
happened?
Anton next. I started
Yeah,
crying.
I seen that. Hold on. What'd you
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
Bees?
Might
What'd you?
be.
The day he blocked True, I knew your days was numbered.
Man.
You was on the clock. When he blocked True, you was on the clock. That was him wanting to block you. But
Yeah, he blocked
he
me.
blocked
I
True
see
up out
that
there.
was crazy. Block. I wouldn't see that. I didn't see that coming.
I
He
did.
blocked me.
Hey, you know why he blocked?
I was cooking them because I was cooking them.
Hey, no,
I didn't even know Ticket block niggas over there, dog. Like
hey,
real talk. I'm like, bro, all us cool, dog. We
Man, I
come
was
in with our
subscribed.
different takes.
Man. I've been subscribed to him like 2016.
I'm like, bro, I've been coming
Well,
in.
I had a
I'm
wrench.
like,
I had like a wrench since like 2016 on that channel.
no, I know why he blocked Lamont because he was actually. Hey, here's the thing. I don't know
Mega
Ticket
Fact.
personally,
Because of
but
the Mega Fact.
Ticket emotional, right? Ticket speak from emotion. When Lamont
but
started,
man, bro, hey, I
no,
don't care
check
what
this out.
nobody say, dog.
But when
I
Lamont
don't care
started
what.
doing them numbers, dog. When Lamont was doing them numbers and then coming and
Individual
shouting,
Mega Fact.
Man, I
hey
don't care what
man,
nobody say,
that hurt
dog.
Ticket, dog.
When Anna, we was all over there cooling, dog. We talked shit to each other, but we already knew it was basketball.
Man,
It
listen,
never
man,
was personal.
you two getting.
Until Anna bought her little bum ass over there.
Man, don't even
That's
mention
when
her
shit
name.
went start going left, bro.
Don't even mention
Hey,
that person's name no
That's
hold
when
more.
on.
shit
Hey,
started going
solid.
left.
Hey, solid boy. Hey, you all right? I'm not gonna say tickets started doing this before all of us. I always
Yeah, that's
give
a
him his.
fact. That's a
Hold on.
fact. That's a fact.
I'll always give him his
That's a
props
fact.
for inspiring other people to do this.
Yeah, that's a
That's
fact.
you can't take that away from him. But the fact that sometimes he get a little too
Yeah, I
reckless with the
appreciate it.
block
That's
button,
right.
that's
Right.
fact. That's fact.
Don't get it twisted. I appreciate the time I was on there. That's a like I said, I was subscribed to Ticket for since 2016. Had a
But true,
wrench that long.
that mean you a true fan of the man show, dog. You just can't block a nigga
But
because he don't
I
agree
mean,
with you.
Yeah, I called no because
Like
this is
I
what because
told
he
him
said
last night, bro.
right. He said I was personal when I call. He called me out my name and I call him a bald headed eagle and he gonna block me. Then he said, then I look back, then looking in the replay, he said, "Oh, you went personal? Yeah, I'm a slap him. I see him. Dog, you call me out all my name. You call me all out my name, and I called you a bald headed eagle. You said I went personal. I don't even know you. I never met you a day in my life, man. Come on, man.
But I'm talking about taking my damn self, dog. He ain't
Hey,
never blocked me,
you
bro.
know, hey, here's the funniest thing though when he block you like that, right? Ticket to get in an argument with you, block you, then carry on the argument and say,
Yeah, that's what he did. That's what he did, though. That's why I was like, yo, don't do that. Come on. Then he said he gonna slap me, say he can see me in person. Like after he blocked me, I'm like, come on, that dude, you doing way too much, man. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep.
Hold on.
Hey, after he blocked
That nigga
you,
said he was a bald headed
listening to
eagle,
that
dog.
day.
Y'all niggas stupid, bro.
Hey, he blocked you and
Y'all
said,
niggas stupid,
Nah,
bro.
you deserve that block. Yeah.
This
Hey,
man
hold
should
up,
have called him a bald-headed eagle.
Nah, he called me out my name. No, hold on. He called me out my name. And it's like, yo, come on, dog. Like, first, like, cause it a couple times he kicked me out the chat, though. He put me on timeout. And listen, he.
Hold on, but
I'm
hold on. I got blocked without even being in the chat. I wasn't even there, and I got blocked. I don't even know what I
Why
did.
you got blocked though, right, Lamont?
I don't know why. I honestly don't know why.
I think that investigation had something to do with it, bro.
Yeah, because
LeBat
Your ass
Lane.
got blocked, nigga. When LeBat Lane came out,
LeBat Lane.
when LeBat Lane came out, nigga, your ass thought you
Fred,
got blocked, bro.
Fred Robin.
I
Fred
don't know what you
Robin.
Hey, Lamont, I don't know what you found out, but whatever you found out, nigga, that
Hey.
nigga blocked your ass, bro.
Hey, wait till y'all see part 3. It's gonna blow your mind.
Where is it? Where is it, nigga?
Oh my God.
Where is it?
Yo, this man have the whole series. This man have the whole series. A Bat Lane series, man.
Lamont,
You can't.
hold up. You can hold up.
Hey,
I don't know about
I'm gonna give you the
Lamont.
title. I'm gonna give you the title of the next one. It's called The Puppet Master.
Hold up, Lamont. Hold up. Cause you can hold up. Part one, I was connecting the dots. We was on to it. You confused me in part 2, dog.
How?
And the part, hold on. Now let me see. The part you confused me with was when Anna made her channel in 2016, right? And then you said the fake CJ made his in 2016. I'm like, hold up. So was you trying to say she made the fake CJ account before even knowing CJ?
No. Because you got to think, Anton. So
let me
I'm gonna
answer
tell you.
that for you, Lamont.
Well, let me tell y'all this before you say something.
Let Lamont.
That's the screenshot. So when that fake CJ hit my account the second time with that second message, because the first set of messages was on my very first video. Then I had another message on another video that was more recent. And so I went to the channel and I screenshotted the channel. Now, I've always had that screenshot on deck. I've always had that. And then when I click on that fake CJ page, or at least that second one, it wasn't doing nothing. Like the circle wouldn't do nothing. Like it's not linked to the same page. So that's what made me really try to start connecting the dots. So I said, I'm gonna go look at the screenshot, the original screenshot that I had, and then I'm gonna compare when this account was created. I'm gonna compare it to the two accounts because she made herself a suspect when I saw the two accounts. I was like, why the hell do you got two accounts with the same video uploaded on two accounts? So I just said, let me check the about tab, and I seen that same date, and I said, oh man. I said, oh,
well, that dislike had me crying.
Hold on. You see, it's damn near 200 dislikes now. I said, God damn, you need to apologize to that man. Oh yeah, shut your channel.
Shut your channel down.
Yeah, I mean, I added to those dislikes. I ain't gonna cap. I added to those dislikes.
So hold on.
Here you
Who's
go,
the fake CJ?
Hey, I'm gonna
hold on. Hold on. Go ahead, Bees. Go ahead,
Hey,
Bees. Yeah, it's two of them.
This is what I deduct from what Lamont done put on the case so far. He basically outed Will and gave them all a chance to apologize before he went any further. He didn't apologize, so now he outed Anna.
Yes.
Word.
I mean, the 2 pages, what he was saying is she created 2 pages when she created her pages. She
Right.
just switched the name on one and used it for the fake CJ. But
Yes.
people knew she had 2 pages.
So
she
Anna is the fake CJ.
Hold on. But Bees, she
Yeah.
didn't. Hold on. She exposed herself for having 2 pages when she
Right.
accidentally uploaded her first video on both accounts and not
Right.
just one.
Right.
She
So
accidentally did that.
what he really telling you right now, antisocial, and this is what I thought from the start, and I'm just conjecture here, right? The fact that somebody was saying Lamont was coming into his chat and trying to steal his subscribers. Ticket was orchestrating this whole motherfucking thing.
Oh man.
Otherwise, Will wouldn't be on his show right now, and CJ be still off.
And it was, and I would have got away with 2, but that wasn't Melly Lamont. I'm at least funny, man. I'm at least funny we said that.
Hey,
Joke,
the
man.
day that Will got exposed and Ticket was good with Will, he only could be good with Will if he in on it, if he running it.
Well, I mean, what are they running though? Like, what it, man? You know,
They wanted
it's
CJ
I
off,
don't know.
dog. They wanted CJ gone.
Man.
But
I
Ticket didn't want to wear
thought
that. Ticket didn't want to wear that he blocks a LeBron James jockstrap sniffer, because then he say he ain't fair. But he wanted CJ gone.
I thought he had love for CJ. I don't know, man. I ain't going.
Hey, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
You know that,
I
Kev.
don't
Look
know,
how
If
you
man.
this
talk
nigga
to
got
that
love
man,
for
man. Come on,
CJ,
man.
ain't no way Will still running on his channel like that.
Hey, man, that's just the.
Hold up,
That's a.
LeBron. I remember the day the shit came out. That
What's
nigga
that?
was hot. That nigga was
Yo,
hot.
he was trying to anti. He was in the comment.
That nigga still
Anti. He swore. Anti. He was swore up and down. It was man. I don't make no fake accounts, man. Man, shut your
I'm
dumb
a
ass
real
up,
nigga.
man.
I'm a
Shut your
real
dumb
nigga.
ass
I
up.
ain't making
The
shit.
number one.
I got a house. I got a house. I got a whole house. Man, shut
I
up.
don't stay in no Jersey, nigga.
Hey,
I
the
don't
number
put
dumb.
on no
one
niggas
clue.
in Jersey.
Hey,
Oh
the number
man.
one clue that you got a nigga in the cross eyes. When you know you got a nigga in the crosshairs, the nigga say, God know what I did.
Yeah, Ralph. Yeah, Ralph. Yeah. But yeah, Ralph, it be like that. It be like that, Ralph. I was subscribed to T for since 2016. Had a whole. I've been a mod on that channel since 2016.
I'm gonna be next then, dog.
Yeah, he gonna get you too, dog.
2016.
I don't give a man. Look,
Anti-next.
I'm a real one. You heard me?
Yo,
I'm a real
when I
one,
seen that
dog. I don't give
comment,
a
I
fuck,
was
bro.
crying. I forgot who said that. He said, "Yo, anti next, man." He said, "True." He said, "CJ, True, Lamont, Spiffy."
Nah,
It was that anti. It was
Spiffy
man.
just don't go over there no more.
Right.
Spiffy had told him. Spiffy told him like, bro, how you talk to people? He was like, I can't fuck with you no more.
Yeah, I remember that. I fucks with Spiffy though. Spiffy doing his thing right now. He just recorded a music video and everything. I'm probably gonna do another.
I gotta check his music out.
I gotta drop his music.
So Lamont, bro, when is part 3 coming out?
Speaking of
That's what I
90s,
want to know.
But when is part 3 coming out, Lamont?
Oh, this weekend. It's gonna drop this weekend.
Oh, it's dropping this weekend?
Yeah, it's dropping
Hey,
this
God.
weekend. You know, I gotta, I gotta put some theatrics onto it somehow. So I gotta edit it up.
Hey, go ahead and let this be the last word, bro. Don't string us along, dog.
I ain't gonna lie. This series is hilarious, man. Lamont Lane, the Labatt Lane shirt. That's a.
Oh man.
Go ahead, put that nigga
Hey, fellas. Speaking of the 90s versus the.
Go ahead, Sly.
Hey, fellas. Speaking of the 90s versus the 2000s, like early 2000s. How y'all feel about it as far as football goes?
Oh
damn.
That gets sound. Think about you talking about NFL. Now that gets tough. Now NFL, it gets tough. It gets tough when you talking about NFL. It gets
You gotta
tough.
look at the game has evolved into a passing league now. Back then it was a running league, bro.
Yeah, that's the only thing you really can judge off of how the game is played. But it's still tough regardless all around.
Like, if you don't throw for 4,500 yards now as a quarterback, dog, you trash. Like basically, you trash, dog. And back then, 4,500, that was you was the greatest quarterback.
That's
in
tough,
the league.
man. Hold on. So you said 2000. So you said the 2000s and then that's tough though, man. That's
Yeah.
tough.
That's who I don't
Well,
know if
let's.
y'all
That's
remember.
They
tough,
had,
man.
We
I got
can keep it
Hold
from
up.
we can keep
Hey,
it from
hey,
2000. We can keep it from
that
2000 to 2010.
Greatest show
2000
on
Baltimore Ravens
Yeah,
motherfucking defense. Oh my god, bro.
yeah, that Buccaneer defense was crazy.
Woo-wee.
That Buccaneer defense was crazy. That's the Legion of Boom. That was a crazy defense. The Denver
That's one.
Broncos.
that's after
I'm
two.
That
going with
Denver
a
That's
Bronco.
after
quarterback who
That
can
Denver
2013
Broncos
though.
with Pave.
That's
That
not
Denver Bronco. That Denver Bronco defense
Trent
was
Dilfer
crazy.
as their quarterback,
You got
bro.
Von Miller and you got Von
That's
Miller
2010
and
though.
Marcus
That's
Ware.
2010,
Where,
man.
yeah.
That's
Oh, you
like
You had
2010.
you had
you
Danny
said 2000,
Trevathan. You had
2000.
Oh,
Pete
2010.
Lee.
Oh, yeah, my
Yeah, he
fault.
said 90s and
The
2000.
Buccaneers
okay.
and the Ravens.
In the night
I'm
in the
gonna say
nineties though, y'all saw a team, even though they didn't win. Y'all saw the only franchise in NFL history to go to a Super Bowl 4 times in a row. Even though the
Yes,
Bills
sir.
didn't win,
nah, you know what team
Yeah,
was tough?
that's
they
Them
went four
98
times in a
Vikings was
row.
tough.
crazy. They never won out
Not
one
putting
Super
no
Bowl.
The
respect
Hey,
on their
98
name.
Vikings was tough.
hold up. I
That's
hope
tough.
none of you niggas in here is Dallas Cowboys
That's
fans, dog.
tough.
Nah,
If
I'm
you
a
We're
are, I
not.
Vikings
feel
fan.
sorry
No,
for
we're
you.
not. Nah.
If you are, I feel sorry for you.
Hey man, I shouldn't be talking. I shouldn't be talking myself, man. I
Hey,
shouldn't
bro,
be
hold
talking,
up, hold up. Oh, speaking of football, what I tell you niggas about Lamar Jackson, bro?
man.
What I told y'all about Lamar
Hey,
Jackson, bro?
Hold on. Hold on, Anton. I think I got a bone to pick with you because I think
You
you're the
need
one that
somebody
What I
to
said
told y'all
Andy
respect.
about
Dalton
Lamar
was a good
Jackson, bro?
quarterback.
Who?
What?
Who I said?
So
I
you're
think you
saying
said
Lamar
which
Jackson?
one?
So Lamar Jackson's a bum.
Which one of you said Andy Dalton was good?
I ain't
I
say he
did.
was
Hold
good.
on.
I said he was a good
I
backup
hold on. I
I
quarterback.
said this.
thought he was good. I
I
thought
Let
he
said
was
he
me.
was
going
a
to be
good
good
I
backup.
thought
there.
he was
I
gonna
said he was
be
gonna be a good.
slide. This is why.
Listen,
This is
and
why
I'm
I said slide.
Antar,
I thought he was gonna
Antar,
be good. I thought he was gonna be good enough to help them still win the division. That's
That's
what
Antar.
what
I
I thought
said.
too. That's
I
what I
was
Look,
thought.
wrong. I was wrong.
Antar.
No,
So
you're not
Lamar
wrong.
Jackson.
You're not
And I
wrong.
tried to, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, True. I tried to tell you this, dog. What y'all saw in Cincinnati was a product of good defense, and they had Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard running the ball, and freaking
AJ
AJ
Green.
Green. You had
Yup, you
AJ
right.
No,
Green and Tyler
AJ Green
Eifert,
was the reason
and
why.
Tyler
Man,
Eifert to
Thomas
throw
J.
the
Green was the
ball
That's
to.
it.
problem.
And my
That's
You
it.
only
right.
thing was,
I was wrong.
good word,
I
word.
mean, but
Because when I say
Word.
like, look, think about this
But
with
hold
Andy
up.
Dalton.
Hey, hold on.
Compare
Let me
him to
say this though.
Dante Cole.
Hold up. Hey, you can't blame that all on Andy though, man. That offensive
Now he.
line
no,
is trash.
Nah, I'm be
it
real.
is.
But he. Listen. Hold up.
Nah,
Hold
that
up.
offensive line is horrible right now,
Nah,
bro.
nah. They gave up. Nah, Anton. They gave up though. They don't really
Before
care. Though.
Dak,
They gave
Offensive
up.
line is
They gave up.
horrible.
they don't
Nah, they
care.
gave up.
They
They
not
gave
doing
up.
their job, Anti.
They
And
gave
before
up.
Andy, before Andy became the starter, Dak Prescott was putting up 30 points a game.
Right.
He was
They
putting up
gave up,
30 a game,
Anton.
dog.
They
You know
Anton. They
what I'm
gave
saying?
up though,
Hey,
Anton.
hey, they can
They
do,
gave up.
man. That ain't my
And
team. You heard me?
my
Yeah.
thing is,
They.
yo, like sometimes good skilled players will make, even though the quarterback's the captain of the team, like good
Right.
skilled players will make that quarterback look good. Like look at
Nah.
Dante
So,
Culpepper.
hey,
As soon as he
hold
lost
up.
Randy Moss, you saw exactly what he was. You saw
Hey,
exactly what he was as soon as Randy left.
hold up,
You know what
slide.
I
Hey,
mean?
who
And
wanted
then
to
you
ask me
got
something?
players like Larry Fitzgerald, who's go ahead.
Hey, which one of y'all wanted to ask me something?
Yeah, but yeah,
Nah,
I was asking, how is Lamar Jackson a
nah,
bum? Just because, listen, I
I
said,
didn't say.
how is
I didn't
Lamar
say. Oh,
Jackson?
go ahead.
I said, how are you calling Lamar Jackson a bum just because he lost to the two best teams in the league this year?
Oh no! I ain't say he was a bum. When we was in here discussing Lamar Jackson, I said, bro, all that shit he's doing is only gonna win him regular season games. When he get to the playoffs, he's not gonna be able to beat no team
I
with his
mean, but
legs, bro.
but you think the team? I think the team needs to get better. I do.
Nah,
I
nah,
don't
no,
think
he
I mean, you
the
have
team.
he need to get better throwing the football, bro.
no.
Man, you
That's
gotta get it. You
fact.
got. They need. Hold on. They need a big.
Fact.
Hold on. They need more receivers for them to do.
No, they
Listen,
No.
you
do not, bro. Hollywood Brown and Zach Andrews is
man, you
enough.
need a big. He
He
need a
need to
bigger
get
target.
better throwing.
He need
Nigga,
a
Zach
bigger
Andrews is the
target,
best tight
man.
end in the league right now.
You said who the best tight end in the league, bro?
Andrew.
No, he's not. So he better than Travis Kelce. He better than Travis Kelce.
No, Kittle's
Nah,
in
I
there.
said
Okay.
I went
I
with
did
him.
Kittle.
I
I
went
said
with
Kittle.
him too. Kittle hurt right now.
He's better than Kittle. He's better than Kittle. Okay.
Man, he's one of the best tight ends in the league, bro.
No,
y'all
he's
stop it, dog.
Lamar Jackson. He better than Zach Ertz.
Yes, I would take him over Zach. I would take him over Zach Ertz. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I don't know about that.
You the bump.
No, he's not.
I don't know about that.
No,
I don't know about that. You lost on that one.
No, he's not.
You see, the reason why niggas like Lamar Jackson so much is because he somehow reminds you of Michael Vick and a little bit of Cam Newton when they was nice. Here's the thing about that, though, man.
I
like he can play. He a baller though.
Lamar cannot throw the ball, man.
Who are the wide receivers on the team? Who are the wide receivers on the team? Who are the wide receivers on the team?
That's
Who are the wide receivers on the
Michael
team?
Vick.
No, you don't. You need.
Who are the wide receivers on the team?
You need more than Hollywood Brown, man.
Hollywood Brown and Zach Andrews over there, dog. How much more talent you need?
Mark Andrews is
what you mean?
Who are the wide receivers on his team? Explain to me who the wide
He
receivers
need
are.
what Tom
I want to know.
played.
I want to know.
Y'all gotta stop with this, dog.
So Willie Snead is a good wide receiver. He's a really good wide receiver.
You know what, though, bro? Let me ask you this.
What you need is a nigga that can throw the ball to you, dog.
No, Lamar Jackson can throw the ball. He needs target. He needs weapons.
No, he cannot throw the ball.
Yes, he can throw the ball. He has no weapons. Willie Snead is his wide receiver number 2. Willie Snead is his wide receiver number 2.
Man, they had to get Dez Bryant. They had to get Dez Bryant in the practice squad. They had to get Dez Bryant.
If he had as much help as Tom Brady on offense, he'd be doing a lot better.
Exactly.
You see what Tom Brady did with no weapons. He ain't do nothing with no weapons. Everybody needs weapons.
I guarantee you move
What are you talking about?
Hold on. You move Lamar Jackson off Baltimore and you put Patrick Mahomes over there. I guarantee
Come on,
you
man. No, that's cap. That's cap.
That's cap. You lying.
Who is Patrick Mahomes having this team again? Who are Patrick Mahomes on the team?
Hold up, dog.
Who is on Patrick Mahomes' team?
That's the greatest thing you ever seen, my dog.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes, you can't say that, dog. Patrick Mahomes got the best
Tell me who's on Patrick Mahomes' team.
Dan Marino, man. Hear it.
We're not saying that. Hold on, but we're not saying that. But you miss it. Right, but here's the thing though. He got the best. Like, come on, he got Tyreek. He came in the league with Tyreek Hill.
Bro. Can I ask you this? Can I ask?
No, hold on. Alex Smith had them same weapons.
True.
No, we didn't.
Don't do that. Alex Smith had them same weapons. Don't do that, nigga.
Does Patrick Mahomes have
like it is now.
Hold on, Anti. I got him. Hold on, Anti. I got him. Bro. I got him. Bro. Can you tell me the weapons that Aaron Rodgers has?
Hey, besides Devontae Adams,
what Pro Bowl wide receivers is Aaron Rodgers throwing the football to?
That's Devontae. That's it.
Lord Arm.
Hey.
He's the top receiver in the league.
Hold on. He don't even. Devontae hurt. Devontae was hurt. Devontae was hurt. So who is?
Hold on, Sly.
No, Devontae's not hurt anymore.
Hold on, CA3. Hey, I see a lot of y'all in the chat talking about Madden. Just drop your gamer tag. I send it over to Anti.
They don't want this smoke, bro.
Hey,
I just drop smoke, bro.
Man.
I am ranked number 6 in the world. They don't want this smoke.
Oh,
I will fuck niggas up on Madden.
Hey, so if y'all play Madden, drop your gamer tag.
They don't want this smoke, bro.
Hey, but we gonna be shutting this down here pretty in a few minutes. So I appreciate everybody.
But listen, Anti.
Hold on one second, y'all. My bad. I'm gonna still let y'all cook, but I'm just letting everybody know we're gonna be shutting the live stream down here in a few minutes. Appreciate everybody for checking in, joining the live stream. We're gonna be back tomorrow, hopefully at 5. Probably to cook it up. We're gonna do a little bit more football tomorrow. So, again, I saw some. I'm real worried about. I want to talk about some Cowboys because I didn't think it'd be that bad. I didn't think it'd be that bad.
Them niggas done, bro.
It's bad over there.
My team doing bad myself. I can't.
Hey, Lamar, it's so bad over there, bro. 6 games gonna win the division. That whole conference is trash.
Man, they gotta shut the division. Shut the division down, man. Shut the division down.
That Washington team might
Shut the
win
division
it.
down, man.
Hey,
Listen.
Lamont, 6 games is gonna win the division, bro.
Man, Washington
That is
football, man.
horrible.
Listen, they got a team. They got a team called the football team, man. Come on, that just says a lot. They got the Cowboys, the Eagles. Come on, you got the most generic names in football. You literally, that's generic. You can't get more generic than that. You got the Giants, football team, Eagles, and Cowboys, man. Listen, yo, the
The Cowboy logo was on the back of
Who
the
disrespecting
That's how you know.
Who disrespecting the NFC East? Who disrespecting the NFC East?
That's been the worst division of football for the last 10 years.
The NFC East. The NFC East is the only division in football. The NFC East is the only division in football where everybody got a ring. So you know what I mean?
They've been leading longer. They've been leading longer.
That's over the history.
But no other division can say that.
You talking
No
about
other
the
division can
past?
say that.
You talking about the whole history.
A team is leading the hold up. A team is leading the division at 2-5-1. Fuck out of here, nigga. Fuck out of here.
Them boys don't have, and they all the way hurt.
And guess what? The Seattle Seahawks made the playoffs at 7-9 and beat the Saints. So you know what I mean?
Hold on, but slide though. Y'all about to win. They gonna win a division with 6 games, maybe 5
games, bro. 6.
Hey,
maybe 5.
Talking about the here and now, man.
You can't even go to a bowl game in college. You can't even go to a bowl game in college with 6 wins, man. Come on, man. You don't win a division.
Most games y'all win
going for a free win for somebody.
The rules has always been win your division. You can't say
win the last time. Hey, them niggas ain't winning shit. Hey, they ain't winning the division this year.
Rule number 2 is have a respectable division, right?
You don't need it. Cause you don't need that. Cause the Giant show, cause Eli and the Giant show draw that shit. We can go into the playoffs.
They not the Giants no more.
We can go into the playoffs.
Man, they need to move that. Man, they need.
You know what I'm
they need
saying?
to go
Like
to.
it is what it is.
Man, they need to move to South Africa or something, man. They need to move to South Africa or something, man. Man, Washington football team, man. They need. Man, they need.
Hey, hold up. You got the Gigantes. You got the Cowgirls. You got you got the Sheagles. You got the Sheagles.
Put 2
and you
L's
got
at the end
the
of
Washington football team.
Hey.
The Washington football team.
Man, shut their division down, man.
And everybody, and all those franchises got trophies, or got a trophy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we're gonna chop it up tomorrow. Y'all appreciate y'all for jumping in, man. We're gonna get up out of here. Salute to the chat, man. Appreciate the support. And we're gonna be back tomorrow. Got some more videos dropping. So hey, also if y'all some musicians, make sure y'all send me in the email y'all albums. We can do them album reviews. What else you got? Something, Shooter King?
Oh yeah, can I put on my channel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, yo, Shooter King TV. Just type. All y'all do is type it in. I'm gonna pop up, man. I'm liking the support.
And you already got videos out?
Yeah, I got 2 videos. Just drop them on a day. Yeah, man. Listen, hey, man. I appreciate all the love and support. I'm seeing the comments, man. You know what I mean? I'm cool with the feedback. So, I mean, hey, I'm trying to grow, man. Roll to 100, man. Roll to 100 subscribers. I appreciate y'all.
That's what's up. Right. Hey, we got to get them to 100 subscribers, man. We can do that by tomorrow. Let's do that.
I got you, Shooter King. I got you, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
I got you, Shooter King.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. Salute to the chat.
All right, salute. Catch y'all.